Você que tá aí ouvindo esse podcast e faz exercícios. Sei que você provavelmente bebe só a água para se recuperar. Mas você sabia que a água pode não ser o suficiente para hidratar nosso corpo, seja durante ou após a atividade? Ainda bem que chegou o Gatorade Zero.
Zero açúcares e com eletrólitos e vitaminas para te recuperar para a próxima rodada. Experimente o novo Gatorade Zero.
Muito prazer, chegou o novo T-Cross, um SUVW para quem valoriza conforto, tecnologia e segurança, com novo design e novo acabamento sofisticado. Vá até uma concessionária Volkswagen e conheça. Paz no trânsito começa por você.
Poured in my mouth and it just wasn't going down.
My first beer was an IPA, the best IPA I've ever drank. Mostly because I brewed it.
If you have a scale that is good for measuring cocaine, you're probably good for measuring hops on cocaine.
You're scaring me.
I think the information is awesome and the audio sucks.
Make some sugary water, throw some yeast in there.
And you're gonna drink good beer.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. It's fine.
God damn it, man. Oh my God. Oh, uh-oh.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Welcome everybody to The Session, the all-new session.
How new is it?
It's pretty all new. I mean, there's some new things out there, and then there's this.
Wait.
That's how new it is.
Whose voice was that?
It wasn't mine.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah!
How's everybody doing? Welcome to The Session, and that's our new intro. What do you guys think?
Sounds pretty good.
Told you it was coming this year.
Everyone likes it except Haggerty. He says it sucks. Throw it out.
Is that right?
Yep.
Ah, well, throw Haggerty out, that jerk.
I would.
Ah. How about that voice in there, man? That guy's...
now.
That guy's got he's old golden voice. I like it. It gets me pumped.
Yeah, it's good. Man.
You know, I kind of feel revitalized. We needed a new, I don't know, just a new something going on, you know?
Yeah, can't get a new producer.
No.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, Chad.
I thought we ought to just, just revamp things a little bit. The old, it was like, some of the words in the old intro were like, get ready for an all-new experience. And it's pretty much not new anymore.
No, it's not. No.
It's like the third year you've been experiencing it, so...
hey, you get drunk enough, it's new every week.
Yeah, that's true. Dr. Scott back in the studio with us.
Yeah, I had to crawl here, man.
Yeah.
I started on Thursday, and I just made it.
I had a lot to talk to you about.
Yeah, cool.
First of all, how'd it go getting out of the house to come here today?
That wasn't bad. I kind of primed her. It was bad last week. Last week was hard. I almost made it last week, and it got a little ugly. So I decided just to back down and push for this week.
And she was cool this week? It wasn't like, you better get your ass back quickly or anything like that?
No, it was what time you coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. See, at least your excuse now could be, like, we had to pick Doc up. Schumann went and picked Doc up. So now you could be like, hey, I don't have a car.
Yeah.
I only go home when they take me home.
Yeah,
So.
that won't get me off the hook, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, we got to tread lightly with you for a while, I think.
It'd be best that way.
Now, also, no drinking for Doc this week.
Yeah. I've been drinking for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Is it because of the meds?
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you get loopy if you do both?
I tried, I had a half a beer last night.
Yeah.
And I just fell asleep. I mean, just instantly. So, I'm not going to go off the pain meds, I'll tell you that right now.
You're not going to sacrifice to have a good beer?
Right.
Yeah.
Have you have the pain meds worn off? Like you've forgotten to take another one and found out how painful it is not to?
Yeah, usually I wake up about 3:30 in the morning screaming.
Oh.
It's just on fire. So I can't get to the pill bottle fast enough.
What meds they got you on?
Percocets, and I've got some Dilaudid's too.
Is that like a little cocktail?
No, it's either or.
I see. Maybe for Doc.
Right.
We should, instead of us drinking for the show, we should all take his meds as well.
We should all eat meds.
So that we're all on the same page as Doc. Just for Doc.
A whole new experience.
Right. Yeah. That would be a new experience.
Goes with our new intro.
Hey guys, I can't feel myself drooling.
You are, man, let me tell you. You're drooling.
You're definitely drooling. How great would the show be about 2 hours into it if we all took perks now?
Yeah. If you think you hated
Talk about
dead silence now.
Talk about a meltdown.
Yeah, wait till we're all high as kites and just nothing's going on.
I would love it. Like that. That would
you and nobody else.
It'd be the only time I would probably enjoy dead air.
Yeah.
I'd just be sitting here going,
"It's nice.
This is cool, man.
It's quiet."
Last time.
Just be quiet. It's cool.
Yeah. Hey, I got a new game. It's called The Quiet Game.
Yeah, it's called Everybody Shut Up. Last time I was on, I took Vicodin. I don't remember what the purpose was.
You were about to say Viagra.
Last time I took Viagra. Last time I took Vicodin, about 2 hours or so after I took it, I just found myself kind of staring off into the distance. And just at that time, I was thinking to myself how the Vicodin, it wasn't working. And then I went, well, wait a minute, you are staring off at nothing. And you've been doing it for 20 minutes now. I'm pretty sure the Vicodin's actually working.
But it's not affecting you in any way.
No, I think I was, kind of a weird thing. But, alright, so no beer for Doc today, but that's alright. We do have an interesting show. This is the Kickin' It Old School show.
Oh.
Yeah, you like that, huh, JP?
Why?
Well, we're going old school. It's only a homebrew show today. We've been doing a lot of craft brew stuff for a long time, months even. Mm-hmm. And this one is strictly homebrew, kicking it old school, like when we didn't have guests back in the old days, and we would actually hash out a topic ourselves. And that's what we're doing with Doc today. And we're going to cover his entire brew process.
Cool.
Shat and I were talking it over, and Shat was pointing out to me, we talk about various points of your brewing, Doc, but we've never really gone through like A to Z. And people always ask us that, and they send us emails about, tell me about how Doc plans the thing and when he actually does the brew and the day. And so we're doing that today. We're going A to Z with Doc's Brewing.
Yeah, you need to, because you're going to be brewing with me, like in a week.
That's right. What are we doing, next Monday?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Brewing for Sam and Bevo's wedding.
Oh,
in February. So we got to get some beer for it. We told him, because you know how poor Sam is. He's poorer than me. And so we said, hey.
Which is a good reason to start a family.
Yeah. And he will be starting a family that night, you can be sure.
Yeah.
So, so we told him we brew a bunch of beer. You got to brew beer for him too, Shat.
Oh, definitely.
What are you brewing for him?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe an IPA. What are you guys going to make?
Dortmunder.
Yeah, Dortmunder export.
In fact, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight as our example when we go through Doc's Brew Day. So if you've got your copy of Brewing Classic Styles, you're going to want to get that handy when we start the next segment, because it is based off of Jamil's Dortmunder recipe. So if you have your Classic Styles handy, grab that thing and turn to the Dortmunder export page, which I think is page
54.
54. So get ready with that. If you don't have Brewing Classic Styles, you should be buying it from our store. And in fact, you can buy it in combination with How to Brew, and both of them will be signed. It's your only way to get a signed copy of Classic Styles right now, and you also get a signed copy of How to Brew. And check this out. So Palmer calls me, and he sent me all these signed copies so we could sell them in the store here. And he left me a message about a week ago. He tells me there are 5 of those books that have a special signature in them. He didn't tell me what it is. But a lot of them just have a regular signature. I think they say, welcome to the BN Army. Here's your field book. Like, here's your field guide.
Brew strong.
And then from Joe Palmer. But he said that there are 5 copies just randomly throughout, so I don't know who's going to get them. They will get an actual special.
They're hermetically sealed, so there's no way to looking at them.
That's right.
That's cool.
So go to our store and you can do that.
So you get the lucky one.
Yeah. See if it's like getting the golden ticket,
I've got a golden ticket. Got a golden twinkle in my eye.
Now, just one last question for you, Doc, about old Anklegate. People definitely want to know how you explained your broken heel.
Oh, the official story?
Mm-hmm.
I jumped down off of your retaining wall here onto the concrete patio and cracked my heel.
Gotcha. Now, didn't you tell that? Didn't the doctor say, "Is that really what happened?"
Are you sure? Because usually he's getting people nowadays that are falling off ladders, putting up Christmas lights, doing the same thing. And this guy's one of only 2 people that fixed the calcaneus in the whole area.
I see.
And no, he goes, "Were you drinking?"
Yeah,
not excessively at that point, but
I sure did afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the official.
And I got a little shit about it from the wife the night before last. I just don't see how that could happen.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, freak accident.
Yeah. See, the way I thought of it, because I thought that too. I mean, maybe the wife would kind of wonder what happened, but what else would happen? She has no idea that there's a stripper pole here,
right.
So it's kind of how could you not believe it? What else would have happened?
No, it was totally a pole malfunction.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not hammered at that point where she would think that I was just coming over here getting 3 sheets to the wind every Sunday.
Right.
And why would I be climbing a pole when I'm that hammered?
Right.
When I wasn't. I was only doing it because you told me to.
Yeah. And you did it with gusto.
Yeah. And if the top part hadn't come unlatched like that, then
we wouldn't be having this conversation. Yeah.
And then what would we be talking
so,
about?
I just don't want them reading more into it than what was actually there. So
right. We've still got the poll, by the way. We have not removed the poll from the studio. It's now kind of a badge of honor.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And now we know for the future to tell our strippers to stay below the
No, I'm going to pin it so
line.
It won't come off.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah.
I think Doc's angry with the pole.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I'd like to see Doc kind of put one hand on the pole and just kind of hop around it
with a crutch.
Yeah, that's just kind of don't let the pole win, man.
Yeah. Now you got a wheelchair now too, not just crutches.
Yeah.
Oh, a motorized one?
No, just so I can zip around. It's a lot easier if I'm going to be doing things for a while where I'm sitting up. The crutches kind of make my leg hang and it makes it hurt.
How long you had to work?
At least this whole next week and maybe the week after.
Oh, man. So will it have been a month by the time you go back?
Yeah.
God damn.
Ouch.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, not just to you, but all those aching teeth out there.
Yeah. Well.
Sure can.
They'll save it up for me when I get back.
Yeah. I bet your staff's stoked, though. They get a paid vacation, right?
Well, I'm not paying them.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I thought you'd have to because
no, one of my assistants wanted these 2 weeks off anyway.
Oh,
so,
perfect.
Hey, perfect for you. And the other one doesn't care, and the other one is part time. So I still have the hygienist and the front office working. So
they are working.
Yeah, so there's people in there. They're taking phone calls and they're getting their teeth cleaned.
Oh, okay.
So it's still up and running. So as far as a lot of people know, nothing's going on.
Oh, that's a better scenario than I thought. I thought they'd all be sitting home going, "Sweet Doc, go ahead and take your time healing. We're getting paid anyway."
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you got to up and running a little.
Yeah,
bit.
I got an extra $25,000 laying around just to let them sit around.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You too? Because I thought I was the only one.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. A couple more announcements. We got to get to things. There was some. I got a bunch of emails this week about the Brewing Network Awards. Our listeners thought they were fantastic. I got an email from all of the other.
Oh, yeah, you're wondering about that if you're going to get
from all the other podcasts. Each one of them individually sent me an email.
Really? I didn't know it was that bad.
I didn't think, the thing is, we nominated our set, the competition for Douche of the Year. I was nominated.
I was.
Doc was nominated.
Yeah.
And then every other podcast was nominated. And by the way, there are some that I should have excluded from that, like Beer School. And maybe a couple others.
Only because you see those guys a lot.
Only because I have to face
No, because they didn't deserve
Yeah.
they didn't deserve the award. Yeah. Almost.
So if you think about it, it took all of the shows together to be more douchey than me and Doc. So really, we were kind of... You see what I'm saying here? We threw ourselves in the insult pool. And I didn't really...
I thought I was going to win.
Yeah.
I really did.
It was tight. It was a tight competition. So they all sent me emails that were thanking me for the award, but definitely with strong, sarcastic tone.
As in, what does that really mean?
So,
hey,
I don't know.
You know, the only kind of publicity is bad is no publicity.
That's right, man. People will go looking for you now to figure out what I'm talking about and whether it is, whether you actually deserve the award.
Or they got pissed because they had to share it.
They didn't. I don't know if they realized that they won it collectively or not. They all said, thanks so much. They want a plaque. They want me to send them a plaque. I would if I had one. What would we put on that? I guess we'd put a douche on it.
Yeah, you know what we should do is everybody don't brush your teeth for a couple days, go into Doc's office for a cleaning, have him scrape all the plaque off, put it in an envelope and send it to him.
There's your plaque. That's just mean.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Hey, I got people like that. You don't even have to ask them to do that.
Yeah, I just thought I'd address it because I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was like a funny award to give out.
Yeah.
And I just did it in passing, and then I got emails all week long, every one of them.
One by one. Yeah, you told me earlier that I wonder if I'm going to hear from those guys.
It's weird because I don't even know any of them. Like I wouldn't if you asked me what other I would have no idea, but they all know who we are.
Yeah. It's
enough to listen to the show and know about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
You know which one is kind of interesting out there? There's one called
Lunch Meat.
It's called Davis on Draft. They got a chick co-host. Someone told me a long time ago.
How come we don't have one?
I know. Well, someone told me a long time ago. They're like, hey, this chick co-host is really cool. You ought to steal her to replace Daniela with her.
Oh, we could do it, too.
I met them at GABF, actually. They're really nice.
Chick hot?
She's really good looking. And
what's this called? Let me look it up.
It's called Davis on Draft. And they're cool, and they're young people, and I like to see that. I like to see young people getting involved in this kind of thing because, they're the future of homebrew and beer. So, anyway, I thought I'd give them maybe I exclude them from the Douche of the Year award, although I would like them to get an award, I guess. I
didn't even know they existed, so
take it away from them. They're kind of cool. All right. Anyway, so I just had to bring it up because I figured people might be wondering about because I didn't even think about it, and apparently other people did think about it. So there you go. That's that update. Later on in the show, I do have a groundbreaking announcement to make. It is earth-shattering, and you're going to want to stick around to hear that. Nobody here in the studio knows about it. I've not told anybody here. So Doc, Doc doesn't know, JP doesn't know, Shat doesn't know. Groundbreaking announcement, so stick around for that. All right, before moving on to feedback, just a couple of announcements. Remember that the donation page is now up and you can subscribe, so it makes it real easy. And it's everything from like $2 to like $100 or some ridiculous thing that you shouldn't sign up for. But, it's a great way to help us out. And a lot of you have been doing that, and I can't thank you enough. A lot of people sign up for donations, and I really, really appreciate that. It's going to keep this show alive and keep us doing new things. And,
yeah, these meds aren't cheap.
Yeah, Doc needs more perks. There's also new items in the store if you prefer to support that way. There's hoodies. We're out of 2X's, but I got more coming already. Ordered them yesterday. But there are shirts in there of all sizes. There are the books we talked about, the signed books, and other books too you can buy from us. And I ordered hats on Friday. Those hats that we were talking about, all the Army ones, ordered them Friday. I'm told that it's probably a couple weeks turnaround. I think we should have them maybe the first show in February.
Gotta have a hat. Sweet.
I got a couple different types of trucker hats and then a couple different types of Army hats. So there'll be 4 different hats for you to choose from. You should be able to find something you like, and they're really cool. You can also sign up for the AHA through our store. It's the same price as doing it over on their website, but it helps us out. And not only does it help us out because we get a portion of the proceeds, but obviously showing the AHA, the BN Army in force, and us signing up memberships really endears us to the AHA more than anything. They're nice people over there, and they like us already, but I think they'd like us a lot more if there were a bunch of memberships coming through. So it's really just a great way to help yourself out, because you get Zymergy Magazine, you get discounts at the pub, all sorts of different things, discounts to AHA events, and you just really want to be an AHA member. Shat just signed up, eh?
Oh, yeah.
You just get yours?
Just got my card.
Did you?
The card carrying.
Do they have your picture on it or anything?
No. Just a number.
You should be able to put your picture on it, like send in goofy pictures, and put on your AHA card.
Like Rogue.
like the Rogue cards, yeah. That'd be cool. So anyway, do that through our store, AHA memberships. Please, it helps us, helps you. Show ideas, go to chad@thebrewingnetwork.com, chad@thebrewingnetwork.com. Send it to that email address. That is the only way that you're going to get your ideas heard about shows that you'd like to hear. So send that to chad@thebrewingnetwork.com, and he will ignore them accordingly.
Like he's ignoring me right now.
Is he? Yeah, jerk. All right, let's do...
Oh, my God!
You've got mail.
Some feedback. Go ahead, JP. You can...
Oh, no, I was going to say people want an intern update. Is this the semester that we're... Because school started.
Well, now that we got Bevo Bevo's pretty permanent. She's not here this week, but...
I was about to say, how permanent is she?
Yeah, but she's going to get married soon, and then the kind of thrill is gone.
Then she could be in that whole sex thing.
Yeah.
We'll never see her again.
We're going to get to hear those stories, though. That'll be interesting.
Really, you know Sam better than I do, and I don't think it'll be interesting to hear about what Sam does to her in the bedroom.
I think it will, because Sam's such a doofus. It'll be really interesting.
And then it was my armpit, and I didn't know what to tell him.
It's just going to be a pain in the ass, I realized, to get the intern, because they want me to write up a whole description, and then I don't know. It's a whole process.
You have a producer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm lucky I can get Shat to bring us beer nowadays. I don't know what's with you, Shat. Just lazing around.
There's beer.
There is beer. I don't know. I guess if I put it on Shat's lap, then maybe we'll have an intern.
Put the intern on my lap?
Put the intern on Shat's lap. All right, here is the first feedback of the week. Wow, I am amazed at your forum community. I'm a podcast listener, a lurker in the chat room when I can, and a bystander in the forum. I usually catch up the week after a show is on because I can't usually listen live, and I like the way you cats always get your digs in on each other, but when the dust settles, all your personalities fit to make a great show. Also like your choice of guests, whether they're funny, like the guys from Idaho, or informative, like the Hot Malt guys or the Whites. I enjoy all 3 to 4 hours of your shows. 5 hours last week, Doc. You're lucky you didn't come. It's a 5-hour program last week.
Yeah, my wife says, how long you be on the phone? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, what did we have you on for, an hour and a half or something?
Yeah, at least. And I go, well, I could have them, I could have them just sign me off at, 8:45 or 8:30 or whatever. It's just, 5, 6 minutes or 5 or 10 minutes isn't going to matter one way or the other. Okay. And I come out of the room like an hour and a half later.
Oops. All right, he says, having said that, after listening to most of last Sunday's show, he says, I was really irritated with your guest from Lodi, that I sat down to send an email and launch into what a mess I thought the interview was. But before I did, I was interested to see what the forum thought. And I couldn't believe how reasonable and patient they were. He says, I don't think that these guys are knuckle-dragging mouth breathers ready to pounce at the slightest whim, but I couldn't believe that they were more tolerant than me. They actually shamed me into not sending the email I was going to send.
There you go.
He says it reminds...
the guy that started the thread?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because, the guy that started the thread was in one direction, and that was the direction. And
right.
Everybody else, basically... threw some warm water on him.
Yeah, they kind of defended it. He says, he says, it reminded me that homebrewers make up the best community around. Been brewing since 93, and now I understand it's still made up of great people. And he says a bunch of nice things after that. There was some talk about the show last week. It was an interesting interview. It was... It was tough. It was a tough interview. You got to remember, these guys come in here and they've never done radio before. No one's. We're making them sit down in front of a microphone, and they're surrounded by a bunch of people hanging out in the studio. It's a bit nerve-wracking if you're not used to that kind of forum. So
yeah, and especially in it's a cliquey. I don't know if it's cliquey because I think we're all pretty accepting. But you come into a house when there's 7 dudes who all know each other, and one lurking in the corner staring at me, and.
This thing does steamroll too. This thing does steamroll too. I mean, we're all on here. We all know what we're doing. We're talking, and you kind of coming into all this whole little circle. It can be a little intimidating.
Yeah. So you pound a few beers and you get all weird.
Yeah, and then I will say it was weird that the guest just kind of disappeared later. My theory is he got hammered. I think he didn't realize he was. Enjoying that many beverages, and before he knew it, he's like, wow, I better go chill out somewhere.
Before I make an ass of myself.
So, anyway, I thought Jason was a good guest, and I appreciate him coming on the show. I just wanted to point out, because people were talking about it, that, it's not always easy. Not everyone, it's not their cup of tea. And so it can get a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen to the first part of the show, and then when I called back, and I missed out on his whole presentation.
Yeah.
And I've known Jason for a long time.
Okay.
So I've got a whole different perspective on him than anybody else.
Right. You got to say, no matter what, he came out of the interview, the guy is hyped up about beer.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
he is hyped about beer, so you got to give him that.
And does he still teach classes?
Mm-hmm.
Over? I mean,
Yeah.
He does, yeah.
He teaches the all-grain class at B3, and I've gone over it a couple of times, and it doesn't matter to him that people know nothing, and he just looks like he's got a great face on him, then he just loves teaching beer.
Yeah. I think he's doing it twice a month.
He does. Well, he does the extract 1 month, and then the next month he does an all grain.
That's right.
Because he lives where he lives, Woodland, I think.
He drives like 2 hours probably.
So we had more classes when he was living in Concord, but he moved out. He's like, look, I really still want to. We don't pay him.
Yeah.
We give him, I think, a free kit. And so he comes all the way down here to do that, and the guy loves beer and he loves talking about it. I think he's just a little out of his element.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. All right, another feedback here. Jay, thanks for the nominations. Oh, this is from Icky. Thanks for the nominations last night. It's an honor to have been chosen for such esteemed awards. See, no sarcasm in this one. This is a genuine thanks.
It's a general icky-chasm.
Yeah. My congratulations go to McDole and the dude who puked on the air.
Yeah.
There are none more deserving than these two of a BNA. It was great to meet McDole at NCHF. His brown is phenomenal. I look forward to more hoppiness with the influence of McDole on the show and on my brewing. How about that, Tasty? Tasty's now in studio with us, so he likes you.
Thanks, Ick.
Hey, what's not to like about Tasty?
Yeah.
And thanks for liking my American Brown. It's one of my favorite beers.
It's good beer.
You and I think alike.
What'd you bring tonight, Tasty?
Well, I'm still packing that Schooner
IPA. How much did you go buy from them, man?
I 2 5-gallon kegs.
10
a week?
My supplemental beer.
Do you go there every week and get 2 5-gallon kegs?
Well, I could. It's just out of the way, fortunately.
Yeah. All right.
Fortunately.
That's good IPA, though.
Excellent.
He goes on to say, my wife was listening in for the first time last night as I was nominated for Drunk of the Year. She was not impressed by the replay of the night I won Drunk of the Week. But she was glad that I didn't win Drunk of the Year. It's hard to beat puking on the air. What a classic. Congrats, my BN friend. Well done. Looking forward to a great run of shows and some good times at the BN in 2008. With peace, Icky. So.
With peace?
Yeah, he always says he's a peace guy.
You hippie. Go hug a tree.
Peace out, Nick.
You know, he's not the first one that said that. I've only ever gotten one nice email from a wife after someone earned Drunk of the Week. The rest I always hear, like, the wives are not proud when their husbands win Drunk of the Week. Sir, I know that MedTech's wife wasn't too proud that he won Drunk of the Year. And I met her. I think it was just before he won Drunk of the Year when we were back east. And yeah, she wasn't too proud of him. I don't know what's with the wives.
They're jerks.
Here's another one. Hey, Justin, just finished listening to the latest show with the BNA. So far, the best show of the year. Great. I heard about your experience with Alexander Keith's IPA, and honestly, I'm surprised you enjoyed it, expecting an IPA. He says, I consider it macro swill after having Liberty Ale and some local craft brews. That's the Canadian beer I was talking about last week. Anyway, glad you like Keith's. It's the college kids' beer choice around here. They've got a red, which is pretty good. I've had that one, too. And I'm told there's a honey brown, but haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, he just wanted us to know that. And he sent me a song to play, which I'll try to play in another show. Yeah, that Alexander Keith's, I don't know, I guess it's like a mega swill, but it really wasn't bad. I thought it was a well-made beer. So, you Canadians, they're getting good beer up there in Canada. Last time I was there, lots of new and good micros popping up. So, kudos to you guys. Everyone's got to have good beer. All right. So as I told you, this is the Kicking It Old School show. We are hanging out with Dr. Scott. We're going to talk about his brew day, and we're going to be starting that when we come back. Doc's actually in a recliner to tonight's show because he's got to keep his foot elevated.
Speaking of Kicking It Old School, he's in a lowrider.
He's in a lowrider. So if Doc gets a little loopy tonight, cut him some slack. And if he falls asleep, he's just real comfortable. You can't.
Comfortable.
What are you going to do about it? So, do I have to take that call before the break, or?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you should.
Do I need to wait to know who it is, or just take it?
No, just take it.
Hey, caller, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, it's Sean Haggerty. How you doing?
Haggerty, what's happening, brother?
Hey, not a lot, man. Hey, last week when you guys did the awards here,
yeah,
you guys said you lost track of MedTech. I gave him a call the other day here because I hadn't talked to him in forever. There.
Yeah.
Got an update for you.
Great. What's up with MedTech?
Well, first off, he's a father now. I guess sometime after the anniversary show, him and his wife had a child there, and he said he's been putting all his time and efforts into that.
Wow. MedTech the dad. That's right.
Yeah.
She was pregnant when I met her. I remember that. So a few months later. Okay. Wow. So MedTech's a pops now. So does that mean that he quit brewing and drinking?
Well, no. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you've ever been to his site, like Top Hat Brewery or something like that. He's got like this fancy brewing set up in his basement.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's got that thing still set up down there. He's going to get back into it. He said things are calling back down. He's about to jump back into it. So.
All right, good. Yeah, he just vanished. That happens every now and then. Like Beer Pal vanished off the face of the earth on us, and now he's like back in the forum, causing trouble again. And MedTech too. And it's always the guys that you don't expect to disappear, right?
Yeah, they're coming like running full steam, and all of a sudden, it's like, hey, where'd they go?
Yeah, like Ozzy and MedTech, like all these guys that you just regulars, and they just vanish.
Well, H2 did the same thing. He ran away.
Yeah, that's right. He just got busy working, though, right?
Yeah. He's, I talked to him, too, there. He's going to come back, he says. Again, work's just been killing him. He had that surgery on his shoulders and whatnot. So
yeah. They all come back. Trust me. You can't. You can only leave the womb for so long.
If he stopped home brewing, I mean, it's kind of weird to be listening to this program and not getting a chance to home brew. It'd be frustrating.
Absolutely.
So that's probably why he stopped. He kind of dropped out.
Yeah.
I think if you got rid of JP, a lot of these guys would hang around more.
Hey, you're a jerk. Hey, you're a jerk.
All right.
You might be right.
I couldn't let that pass.
We believe in one-man focus groups. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the update, Haggerty. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
Later.
Yep, bye.
Cool. All right, let's take a break and get to the meat when we come back.
Hey, Haggerty, I hope you fall off a retaining wall.
Break your heel? Ouch. JP, it's not very nice.
And don't wish that on anybody.
Stick with us. Doc's Brew Day when we come back. It's the session in 2008.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Jameel John Palmer book, Brewing Classic Styles. If you've been waiting to get your autographed copy, that's it. They're out. They're gone.
Did you miss your chance for a signed copy of Brewing Classic Styles? Well, this holiday season, the Homebrew Book of the Year meets the Homebrew Book of the Decade. And they're both signed. That's right. Brewing Classic Styles by Jamil Zainashev and John Palmer and How to Brew by John Palmer are available for a very limited time this Christmas in the Brewing Network store. How to Brew is the book for first-time brewers and brewing veterans alike. Brewing Classic Styles is your recipe roadmap to award-winning beer with specifics on every beer style in the BJCP guidelines. This limited package is now the only way to buy a signed copy of these legendary home brewing Bibles. Get your package before this offer runs out. Only at the Brewing Network store. Your home brewing home for the holidays.
Nun ist es wieder soweit. Die Herren bleiben sitzen. Die Damen lassen alle ihre Hemmungen fallen. Damenwahl. Jeder Mensch, der liebt nun mal stolz sein Heimatland. Darum lieben wir ganz klar unseren rheinischen Strand. Wo der alte Schlossturm steht, da sind wir zu Haus. Weil es ohne Bier nicht geht, rufen wir ganz schnell heraus. Da sind wir im Wald hier.
you know that you can not only order from More Beer online at morebeer.com and receive free shipping on most orders over $59, but you can also shop in person at their 2 retail locations located in Concord and Riverside, California. In fact, the Concord facility has grown to over 15,000 square feet to fit all the new products, expanded showroom, and new Knowledge Center classroom. And now, in conjunction with the Brewing Network, More Beer is making it easier than ever to keep up on what's happening. Download the More Beer monthly podcast by clicking podcast at morebeer.com. You'll learn about More Beer's history, sales and discounts on More Beer products, get to know team members, and hear ways to save you money. They're also launching a brand new website soon with more features and a better online shopping experience. So go to morebeer.com or call 800-600-0033. That's 800-600-0033.
This is www.thebrewingnetwork.com.
Sit down next to it, grab yourself a paper towel, and watch those yeast have sex.
You're listening to the Brewing Network.
The Brewing Network. Saving your life. One beer at a time. I stink. Stinking myself up over here.
Good thing you're over there. Can we build you a glass booth?
I would love a glass booth. Absolutely. Drank your sake last night.
Smelly nuts.
Oh, yeah. We had you.
I didn't know it was still around.
Well, you had given us 2 bottles. Shu and I went through one a long time ago, and then we went through your other one last night. Also,
Yeah.
It was good.
Haven't I given you 3?
Was there 3? Schumann, did we have 3?
He gave me one a long time ago that I brought over.
Gave you one? Oh, I see. Oh, whatever. Drank a bottle of your sake last night.
Good.
I think
how'd
that's
it go over?
Until today, I'm stinking it up over here. It went well. You know, it wasn't as good as the first bottle we had. I remembered. We warmed it up, and then we got it too warm. I almost uked. Took a shot of it. I almost uked. You can't have it too hot. Like, it can't be hot. You know? Is sake supposed to be hot?
Only the bad.
For the most part, no. Only a small percentage of sakes you actually drink. You drink it warm.
Most of it you drink just regular?
Colder room temperature.
Really?
The sweet stuff you drink actually cold.
So what is yours designed to be drunk?
Probably warm, because it's
as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm by
Hold
no
your
means a sake maker. I just wanted to try to do it and make something drinkable, and
yeah,
it was.
Oh, it was definitely drinkable. Well,
Yeah.
we finished the whole bottle.
Bye.
Yeah. What proof is it roughly? I mean, if you had to get, it's not that strong, is it?
It's like rum or something, isn't it?
No.
No.
Is it, do you think it's that strong?
No, it's like wine.
That's what I thought.
wine?
It's closer to wine, like maybe 16% or
Yeah.
something. You know, maybe a big.
I never checked it that far.
Yeah. It's good. All right, we got a lot to do today. 888-401-BEER, that's our phone number. You can join us in the chat as well. JP is running the chat room. Just hit the chat now button right there on the left side of the homepage. Just put a name in, don't register, don't use a password, just type in a name, click enter, and there you'll be with all your brothers and sisters in the BN Army, and you can ask us questions that way. Bevo is out this week, but she's back next week, and check this out. She doesn't have to work on Monday of next week. I think it's like Martin Luther the King Day or something. So she has a day off.
The King.
And she's going for Drunk of the Week, she says.
Oh, great.
Pin down that pole, Doc.
Yeah, I better get a pin in that pole.
Yeah, get her another outfit, too.
Yeah.
Can we lock Sam out?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care about Sam.
That'll be good.
Yeah, Sam has to work Monday.
He does. Sam's got work,
There you
and Bevo doesn't. So she'll be back helping you out in the chat. All right, we're going to talk about Doc's Brew Day, and kind of, he's just a great example of how to plan a brew if you really want to take it seriously. He's one of these guys who is very premeditated about the whole thing, doesn't just wake up and decide to brew that day.
No.
It's a couple of day process for you. So we're going to start at square one and go all the way through, just so that you can get it out and in front of you. If you've got your Brewing Classic Styles book, turn to page 54. That's Jamil's Dortmunder export. That is the basis of the recipe we'll be talking about, so you can kind of reference it that way. So where does it start with you when you're ready to brew a beer, Doc?
I kind of figure out what I want to brew. So it either is I'm going to be brewing for some event, maybe the contest like the Nationals. Maybe it's for something for the club. Things like that.
Yeah.
So or a request from somebody, or there's a party coming up.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I think of is what kind of beer it is, and that's why I narrow in on that one, because the next thing is more important, which is the timeline.
Okay.
So I set up for how long am I going to need, when am I going to need this thing finished by? How long am I going to need to be lagering it or aging it? And then how long is it going to take to ferment and then brew? Then I look at my calendar and figure when I can get my brew day in.
Yeah. Because you're one of these guys who doesn't let the beer leave your fridge if it's not ready, if you've not lagered it, whereas Chat and I, we'll take 5 gallons and lager it, the other 5, spread the love.
They got a 12-day-old lager on tap.
Yeah, he rid of Hellas the other day. He kegged it. We were drinking it that night.
They don't even wait for it to carbonate.
No, it wasn't even it was flat. We're drinking it that night. But you don't want anybody to taste your beer if it's not just right.
No, I don't.
So that's part of your timeline.
Right. If I've missed brew days, something came up and I couldn't brew for that one, and I can't brew maybe for 2 weeks, but I still have to have something. I'll change recipes, something I can pull up shorter.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. Do you keep ingredients around? Do you go buy in bulk, or do you just buy every time you're going to brew?
Depends on what it is, but generally every time I brew, I'll do that. If there's something special, I have to order things. Maybe B3 doesn't carry. Sorry, man. But
how dare you?
Then I'll order it more in bulk, and I'll keep it around.
Okay.
Just strange stuff like acid malt. Things like that.
And how do you store that stuff so that it stays,
I don't not ground, and just anywhere it's cool and dry.
Do you keep it in the bag, or do you put it in a sealed container?
If it's small, I usually put it in a sealed container, basically.
Even if that's just like a garbage can with a lid kind of thing, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, or a big Tupperware kind of something with a lid. The 5-gallon buckets work great.
Okay, with the lid. Cool. All right.
They'll seal that out. It keeps bugs and oxygen and nasty. It's just don't let it get really hot.
Okay.
Don't let it get really cold. It'll last long. I don't get stuff that I'm going to be hanging on to for 6 or 8 months.
All right. But the heat stales it real quick. Is that what you're?
Yeah. You treat anything badly, it's not gonna hold out as long.
It's gonna move.
It'll slack.
It'll move back
I
to
really
Germany.
I believe in use the best ingredients for the best beer.
Gotcha.
Oh, I got some of that left over. It looks okay.
Yeah, it's just too much time to invest.
It is. It's too much time to invest. And I don't brew on a regular schedule. I don't brew every month. I don't brew every 2 weeks. I don't. Sometimes I'll brew, sometimes every week for a month, and then I maybe not brew for 2 months.
Yeah.
It just.
Chad needs a silo outside with
he does.
Full of 2-row.
The way he brews, it's true.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. And when you brew every week, when you go through those stints, you also don't speak to your wife for a month.
Right, pretty much. Are you brewing again? I'm still brewing.
Yeah. So what about this weekday night brewing? You were doing some of that. You said that worked out in the warmer weather?
Yeah, I try to plan on when I'm going to brew to have the least impact on the family.
Okay.
I'll do weekday nights or Friday night, where I'll get things planned ahead. We're getting ahead of ourselves here, but I'll plan it out. So when I get off of work on Friday, I can come home and just light the boiler.
Okay.
That's all I got to do. I've got everything else set up. That all the water's made and all the salts are in there. Everything's crushed, ready to dump in there. The water's up to the exact temperature or the exact amounts I need, and all I got to do is go in and light it. That's all I got to do.
Yeah.
And I'll even plan around it. While I'm mashing, I can go in and have dinner with the family.
Oh, okay.
And then I come out once it's, at one point I can go in, maybe help put the kids to bed, and then I can come back out, and I'm a night owl. I can stay up easily till 3, 4, 5 in the morning with no problem.
Yeah.
As long as I got something to do. And it's the least impact on the family, but it takes more planning to do it that way.
And by something to do, you mean methamphetamines or?
No, I mean, I couldn't sit around and just read a book all night and stay up late.
Right. Gotta be active.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
I watch TV, watch old movies, brew beer, clean the garage, something. I don't get tired at that point.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of or another time I really like to get up very early in the morning and light it off at 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. Then I can be done by noon.
Yeah.
And then I've got the rest of the Saturday to spend with the family.
Okay.
Something like that.
So minimal impact brewing.
Minimal impact brewing, and it seems to work out best for me.
You're allowed to brew more often.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so in this case, you've decided on a Dortmunder.
Yeah.
Partly because we knew that Bevo and Sam wanted a lighter beer.
Yeah.
Now, we had originally talked about a Helles. Why did you switch to Dortmunder?
Mike here brews a killer Dortmunder, and I really.
That's what Karen said.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
My wife, who doesn't like a lot of beer, just kept going back for
his Dortmunder.
More Dortmunder. So
I thought what I'm talking about.
I thought I hadn't brewed one before, so I thought I'd give it a go.
Okay.
And I really like it.
It's great. It's a good drinker.
It's a good drinker. It's really close to a Helles.
Oh yeah.
And it fits into our time frame. Like, we got to have this drinkable by February 20-something.
It'll be okay. It's tight.
Yeah.
We'll be okay.
Okay. All right. So now we've decided on that. What's your, you've picked a recipe. What's your next step?
Well, no, then I'm picking the recipe. Then I got to go through and look at the ingredients. Can I get all these ingredients? And, with this hop shortage thing, we can't.
Okay.
This one calls for a lot of Hallertauer.
Based off of Jamil's Dortmunder you're talking about here. Okay.
And so I've got to come up with something else for that.
Can't get Hallertauer, huh?
Maybe a buddy could help you out.
Yeah, we could. But then that takes the fun out of doing hop substitute.
Yeah, okay. Well, you might as well get used to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Get ahead of the game there.
I like how Mike sticks to a point.
All right, so what did you...
then can I get the other ingredients? And so then I start working on the recipe. That's my next thing. So I look at the timeline first. What's it going to take? When do I have to have things done by and set up? Then I start doing the recipe. Can I get these ingredients and what I'm going to have to change? I've taken other people's recipes. Recipes are great. I drink somebody else's great beer and I want the recipe. I can't always do it that way because I can't get the ingredients, or I have to scale it up. And I'm not going to put in 1.56 pounds of something.
Okay.
That's just ludicrous.
Yeah.
So
you don't think it makes a difference, or big enough
I round it closely, but I don't get that anal about it where it's got to be 0.78 pounds of something.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3/4 of a pound, or it's going to be, it depends.
Okay. That's just like 400 Lullaby or something. If it's a real dark malt or something, you have to be careful with that. But most of the Caro Pills or something like that.
If I can't get 60 Lovibon, I got 70 Lovibon, I'm going to back it off a little bit and still use the 70.
There you go.
Okay.
It depends on what we're using it for. So I'll start working with that and get around close to what we're going to have.
And just to be clear for everybody, we're talking about a 20-gallon batch here.
Yeah, so I'm scaling things up to 20. Well, this one's going to be 25-gallon batch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Will that be our final volume, or you do your recipe for 25 because you're hoping to get, less?
We're going to lose a little here and there with transfers, lose it in the lines and stuff. So we're still going to come out with more than 20 gallons.
Did you just discuss, I don't mean just as in time, but if they're using your system, which is designed to be a 20-gallon system, you figured out you could actually produce 25 gallons of beer?
I can produce more than that.
Wow.
And I just know where my losses are. I'm going to lose some in the conical. I'm going to lose some in the chiller. I'm going to lose some every time I transfer it to something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got to make sure I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And now also when we got 25, or 20 gallons or 25 gallons, I got to make sure how much beer I have and how much storage I have, and do I have enough fermentation space?
Yeah.
Like you said, what am I doing? When I'm brewing every week, I got to have a place this is going to go to.
Right.
And if I'm full everywhere else and I got no place, my conicals are full and everything else, and also my refrigeration's full, to age it, I'm not going to have any room. So I got to make sure that's all dealt with too.
Yeah.
That's why you get beer every once.
That's what I was going to say. By dealt with, you mean bring us beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get on that list?
Absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
Everyone wants on that list.
So make sure I don't have any problems down the road and say, oh, God, I got to get this transfer, but I can't because I got to move this to this, that out of there to make some room for that. And then it takes the fun out of it when I have to go and do all the logistic stuff because I've got to have room to put this in. I don't pull it out of the conical because I don't have any refrigeration space.
Yeah.
And if I've got a bunch of quarter kegs, half kegs around, I'm going to have to bottle them, give them away, do something to make some room in there. So all this is all about the pre-planning. stages.
Believe it or not, Shat is experiences this issue, what he's going to ferment in. We don't have storage issues because it gets drunk pretty quickly. But yeah, if he's brewing 3 times in a week like this jerk does, figuring out where he's going to ferment and things like that. So
plan ahead. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have something. Maybe you do have fermentation, but you only got 2 kegs.
Yeah, and
you got these or 4 kegs or whatever you have, but you've got 10 more gallons sitting there. It ends up sitting in the carboy a lot longer than you want it to.
Sure.
And what are you going to do with it? You can get stuck down the road. It'll bottleneck somewhere. Yeah. So get it dealt with.
Okay.
Ahead of time. All it does is take a little bit of pre-planning on it. You also got to think of when you're going to make your starters, which is our next kind of thing we got to get together. And we're gonna do at least a 2-step starter. Make a big one for this.
Oh yeah.
It's a lager.
Okay.
And I want to make sure we use a big starter on it.
So when you say a 2-step starter,
we're going to step it up once.
Okay. So we'll do a starter, and then it will kind of chill out, and you'll pour off the top.
And we'll make a bigger starter than that.
By pouring in fresh food for the yeast?
We'll make a bigger container with new wort.
And then just dump the first starter into that.
So we'll probably go from a 2,000 milliliter Erlenmeyer to a 2.5 gallon carboy.
Oh, wow.
Onto the stir plate. And once that's going
for a lager,
right?
But will it be a 2.5 gallon pitch?
No, I always decant. But and then also I got to make sure I'm done with this starter in time to put it in the refrigerator. I put it in the refrigerator the day before, and that's a slow enough cooling because it's a big heat sink, so it takes a while in the refrigerator for it to cool. It doesn't cool down that fast, and it doesn't shock the yeast, but it'll fall out. Then I can decant, and then I can put this big yeast slug into the big conical.
So that's the point of the refrigeration, so that the yeast drops to the bottom, and you're able to decant without pouring out a bunch of yeast.
Exactly.
So the thing I always wonder about that is you're doing this starter, I know to replicate yeast, but also to get it alive and moving.
Right.
But then you're putting it back to sleep.
Not necessarily. No.
Well, not a lager yeast, certainly.
Yeah. And how many guys repitch their yeast? They'll rack off the carboy.
Mm-hmm.
And they just dump the new beer right on top of that one, and they got a fermentation in an hour and a half.
It's done the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a big yeast cake. That stuff is not that dormant.
Okay.
And when I put it in the refrigerator, it takes a while. It doesn't go down but a couple of degrees an hour.
Okay.
You can leave it in there about up to 2 weeks, and it'll still be pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty viable at that point. And it'll activate it back up when you put it in there.
So how many days in advance of brew day, pitch day, are you having to do? Are we going to start this 2-step starter?
Probably start the first starter tomorrow.
Okay, so a week in advance.
Yeah.
Okay, start that one. That'll go for a couple of days, I imagine.
A couple of days, and then at least by Wednesday, then we'll be making the other one.
Okay.
And then by Sunday, I'll probably take it out and put it in the refrigerator.
Okay, so that by Monday afternoon,
right? Or even as far as Monday morning, I might take it off the stir plate on Monday morning, because we won't be done with the brew day till later on, and pitch it after we're all done and cleaned up, and that'll be fine.
Okay.
Do you put that 2.5 gallon carboy on a stir plate?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great? Did you build a giant stir plate for us? You did.
And use the dumbbell.
The dumbbell stir bar.
Yeah. I got to get those samples. I'm trying to get B3.
I don't think I've even seen it.
Yeah, you've got a problem with any domed bottom. A regular stir bar won't stay on there. So I did some research and found that you need the little one that looks like a dumbbell.
Like actually has 2 thick ends?
Yeah. And you can get them at stirbars.com.
Stirbars. How great is it that there's a stirbars?
Yeah, I remember looking there, and they're like real expensive. I said, wait a minute, I have to think about this. Weren't they?
I don't think they're that much. They're hard to find. So when I've been looking for something on the internet for an hour and a half and I come across it, it's the point where I don't care how much it costs.
As long as they take PayPal.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't even hurt to use PayPal.
The secret account.
It doesn't even hurt to use PayPal. It's not really like cash.
Yeah. It's fake.
Free money.
It's funny money.
If I had to give them out, Franklin's, I might have a problem.
Yeah, right. All right, so you actually are putting that on a stir plate. That's awesome. Okay,
it just stirs, makes a little tornado, and we let it go.
Now, if we were just doing a 1-step starter, you would only do it just maybe 4 days before.
Yeah, I started probably Wednesday.
You'd do it Wednesday for a Monday brew.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I just got enough time that I can cool it down adequately to decant it.
Okay. And then another question real quick, because I'm always interested with the decanting part of it. Is it that you don't want all of that beer that isn't the ingredients you have designed, the beer you're pitching it into? And like, why don't you just dump the whole thing in?
Because I don't want it to influence the flavor of my beer, and most of my beers are light-colored, light-flavored beers.
Well, like this beer, you're probably going to use DME, two-row based DME to make a Pilsner beer. That's not going to work. So, yeah, you don't want that in there.
I see. So
now, in my Dortmund, there's a fair amount of two-row in there, so technically you could.
Okay. So you might not worry about it too much.
I may not, yeah.
If I was brewing something big and malty and it could hide it, maybe a Oktoberfest or something.
A barley wine or something.
A barley wine, something big. I wouldn't care.
Okay.
I really wouldn't.
But in a light beer, you don't want those extra flavors.
I don't want to take the chance that it would influence. Like Mike says, it's just too much trouble to go through all of this and then what's that?
Yeah. I think
it's almost there.
It was JP, I think it was the first one that said to me, I had this huge starter sitting on my counter and I just was dumping the whole thing in my beer. And it just had never occurred to me that you wouldn't do that. And it was JP, I think, who said, don't you want to pour some of that out and then just pour the yeast in?
Did I say something right?
Yeah. Yeah! And I was like, I don't know, why would I do that? It's my starter. I got to put the whole thing in there. But I had since seen you do it this way and talk about decanting too. So okay, cool. So now we've got our starter made. What else on prep day?
I got to make sure that I have, and then I got to design the water because I use RO. So I got to design the water every time. So you can skip this step if you're just using whatever you're using.
Right.
But if you want to change the water around to complement one kind of beer or another, and I got certain recipes that I use for light lager, light ale, stout type dark beers, and I kind of stick to those. I've also come up with some recipes where if I'm using part Arrowhead water, part spring water, and part RO, so I can deal with that. And then if it doesn't look quite right to me, I can tweak it here or there. And then I go from what I would need to how much of these ingredients, these salts I need to put in there.
So you're not like buying kits that they say, this is your Guinness salt kit, and you're actually deciding which salts to use.
I'm deciding which salts I'm using and how much, and then I use my scale and I weigh it all out, and then I put it in a little foil pouch and set it aside. It's not going to go bad, and so I've got it ready to dump in there. Then when I RO my water, I can't keep the RO water in stainless because it'll actually leach from the metal.
Ah, okay.
So
if it's got the nutrients in, though, you could then.
If I can put the nutrients in and then I can leave it in. So what I'll do is and that's another thing, I can start making water ahead of time too.
Like the day before, or are you going to start making water tomorrow, a week before?
No, it's usually I can get about my RO system works pretty fast. I can get about 5 gallons in 30 minutes.
Wow, that is fast.
So I've got a bunch of Sparkles bottles lined up, and I just go from there and I cap them off.
Yeah,
and I leave them just like that. So I'll make them new just before. I don't make it and then have this water sitting around for a couple of months. I'll make it.
No, there's no chlorine in there, so it's a good idea.
So I'll make it about the year. Exactly. I make it about the day before, 2 days before, and I have it ready to go. And I've also figured out how much water I'm going to need, and then I actually add some more. I'll have an extra 5 gallons sitting there.
Okay.
Just in case.
So I'll be there next Saturday, and we'll be filling water for you to build this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get that ready, and then you've got the water in the containers. You put your salts right in there, or do you not do that till it's all in the kettle?
I put it in the kettle. Once I get the water in the kettle, then I put the salts in there.
Okay.
Make sure I get it fairly well mixed around.
Okay.
And depending on some of the stuff, I'll add right to the mash. Calcium carbonate or chalk doesn't dissolve well in acidic water.
So you do that in the mash instead?
So I'll put it in the mash.
Okay.
And it'll filter through and do it that way.
So if you're brewing on Monday,
right?
Will you not put your water in the kettle until Monday morning, or will you kind of get it ready Sunday night, put it on the kettle, so that you can get up Monday morning and hit the flame?
Sunday night.
Sunday night you will.
I'll put it in the kettle and cap it, put it in there Sunday night, so all I pretty much have to do is get up, turn it on, and go. There's I've been toying with the idea of making a heat stick, just because I like building stuff. And they just came out with another article. Same guy, because I've read his website a few times about building a heat stick. So what I want to do is put the heat stick on a timer. So let it be in there for half an hour, and let it already get the the water up to a certain temperature. Then I'm not having to sit there with the flame on forever. Then it's dead time for me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Prepping your prep.
Yeah,
getting ready to start to fire it off.
If you're going to get up and start brewing at 4 a.m, you want to start brewing. You want to sit there and watch the water boil.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to have it timed so the flame comes on before I wake up. It's just not going to happen.
It's a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
We've had a pro come in and talk about how that happened at his brewery, and he ruined the whole kettle. You remember that?
Oh.
I don't want to rehash the poor guy's story, but yeah, they're kettle fires automatically, like a lot of professional brewers do. And there wasn't any water in the bottom of the kettle, and so it
that was a good show that was on too.
Torched the thing, yeah. Okay. You know what we didn't talk about with the recipe? You just mentioned it, that you had to substitute the hops in this Dortmunder.
Oh, yeah.
Let's back up real quick and do that. How did you decide on a substitute for this?
When you're going to substitute hops, and let's say you're not really used to a lot of these hops, with this hop shortage, we're going to be starting to use these hops that we know nothing about, that you've never brewed with. A lot of people stick with the same hops that they're used to all the time, Cascades or Columbus or whatever they're used to.
Yeah.
And now you're going to get into some ones you've seen, you've read about, but you've never used. The best way is to kind of look up what their parents are.
Okay.
And without getting into, how, they breed these hops and cross-pollinate them and things. It's just best to see what their parents are.
Okay.
And you can have, the way they can breed these new ones, they can have them one quarter is like this one kind of hops, and 3/4 something of another kind of hop. Or you can have half and half, things like that.
Where are you looking for that stuff?
On the internet, there's a lot of them, a lot of places you can do, and just one site's not going to have it all. You're going to have to glean a lot of things from different sites so you can kind of make sense to you.
So will you just look up the name of the particular hop?
And look up the name of particular hop, and then you just kind of follow the thread and go with that one. So Hallertauer is really pretty hard to find right now. The stuff that I did come across, the alpha acids are 1.5. So, it's not going to give me totally what I want. Yeah. So I need to be conscious of how much alpha acids are in what I'm going to substitute, what the parentage is from these things, so I can get kind of the same characteristics out of it. Now, they're not going to be exactly the same characteristics, but they're going to be close.
So you're looking for noble parents in this case?
Yes, definitely. So Hallertauer parents would be great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of them out there because they're really getting away from Hallertauer Middle Food because of its problem with wilt, and it's susceptible to fungus and things.
Okay.
So they're breeding new ones that are more resistant to that kind of thing. So it's out there. So I settled on Mount Hood and Sterling. Now one's going to be like Mount Hood's going to be a little bit sweeter, and Sterling's going to be a little bit more spicy.
Okay.
So rather than using one, I'm going to split the difference and using each one. Basically using Mount Hood and Sterling side by side.
So for each edition, you're going to be using both.
Yes.
Okay.
And at that point, and I can if I like it, but I want to change it a little bit, I can just tweak them a little bit with the amount rather than so maybe Mount Hood 2/3 for the bittering and 1/3 Liberty or Sterling for that. So.
And are you just going to put this into Pro Mash and see what it's telling you the IBUs are going to be so that you get your quantities right and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, if you're just tuning in, page 54 in Classic Styles, it's the Dortmunder export recipe that Doc's talking about, but just substituting those hops right there.
All right, so it's at least I'm not too far off. I'm not going to throw something in there that's going to be totally out of there.
Sure.
I'm using a UK hops instead of a German hop.
All right.
So and these are U.S. born hops anyway. So they're not going to be the things you find in an IPA either.
Yeah. I think that's really a good method. I'm glad you talked about how you're deciding on hops to look at their lineage and figure out that at least it's going to have those characteristics.
And you just, by checking it out on the internet, you're going to find what their characteristics are like. So the best place to start is what their lineage is.
Okay.
Then you can kind of tell what it's going to be, and then off of other people's descriptions of what it is. And they're going to be a little more or a little less of what the parents are. And you can offset that, which is what I'm trying to do, with another offshoot of the hops of the same parents. They're going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to turn out like, but at least it's a good, educated guess, poke in the right direction.
And it's fun.
Well, it's a lowly hop beer, so the hops aren't a big part of it.
It's not a big, it's not so.
It's a safe area.
And
if you're making an IPA or something, it's going to be a bigger challenge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, these they should have a nice, hop character in the finish as well, though. I mean, it's not an IPA character, but, for example, I know this isn't a Helles, but a Helles, you should be able to taste and smell those hops. Not in a really green bud kind of way like you do IPAs, but you want to know those noble hops are there. You know?
Sure. There's some spiciness, stuff like that.
Oh, they're there.
The challenge here is that if I got to keep it balanced.
Yeah.
And with this beer, it really needs to be balanced. So it's not a hop forward beer, but then again, it's still got to be there.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be more of a challenge, is trying to get it dialed into where it's well within the range of enough, but not too much.
That's just the way all lagers are. I mean, that's why they're hard beers to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because they're so low in malt, the hops are just a real trick to get right.
Yeah. And this is another exercise for me, because I'm concerned about substituting hops and what we're going to have to do coming up. And we might have to ride this out for a year or two.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
if not more. So, yeah, but that's kind of fun. That's a good way to figure it out.
And I like the idea of blending hops instead of, it's not apples for apples. Okay, I can't find Hallertau, so I'm going to use Mount Hood. Well, I'm not going to have the same beer, but if I can blend the hops, some of these and some of those, I'm going to get closer to what I want rather than just having to settle for something else.
Okay.
I think when all the hop substitutions and all the blending of hops, like you're talking about, is all said and done, we're all going to go and say, "Wow, we should have been doing this a long time ago."
Yeah, you're probably right.
I was using Columbus all the time. Now that I'm using this other hop, wow, I really expanded my.
It's going to open our eyes.
My eyes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What yeast did you decide on in this recipe?
We're going to use Southern German Lager. I was going to use WLP 830, but couldn't get a hold of it.
Oh, is that right?
And
there's a yeast shortage all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And I needed it today.
To start the...
Right.
Okay.
And I really like Southern German Lager. I've used it in a lot of my lagers. It's a really nice one.
Okay. Anything else on prep day? I got to take a break either now or soon, so just wanted to get us through prep.
That was a nice lisp you had, too.
Anything else on prep day?
So, anything else?
What else are we prepping?
Are you prepped? No, let me think about it, but that's about it.
Okay. Let's take a break. You could take another pill.
Okay.
Maybe readjust yourself in the seat there, and we'll make sure we've covered everything for prep day, and we'll get on to brew day when we come back. So stick with us here. It's The Session, kicking it old school with Dr. Scott, and covering his brew day, Dortmunder export of the Brewing Classic Styles book, so you can follow along that way. And JP's an idiot. We'll be right back, everybody. Hang in there.
Whoa.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Oh, crap! It's the hop shortage. He's in the basement.
Oh, please. My triple decocted Imperial Pilsner.
It's all gone. We'll never brew again.
Damn this hop shortage. Damn it to hell.
Was ist los? Hop shortage?
Who are you guys?
Ich bin Doppelbock.
Ich bin Kölsch.
Und ich bin Münchner Helles.
We don't need a lot of hops to be delectable.
Now brew something malty.
Use less hops, brew more beer. Northern Brewer has kits and ingredients for dozens of worldwide beer styles that don't require a lot of hops to make a great pint. Like the Cool Blonde Kolsch or the ponderously bottom-heavy Doppelbock. Keep drinking great beer. Order at northernbrewer.com and get flat rate $7.99 shipping anywhere in the contiguous U.S. 1 beer kit, $7.99 shipping. 1 million beer kits, $7.99 shipping.
Together we can beat this hop shortage.
Now get brewing!
Hello from Plank Road Brewery, where we're proud to announce there's finally a beer brewed exclusively for people who love head.
Just for us?
That's right, Head Beer. A hearty beer with a big, thick head that lasts and lasts. Try some.
Jesus Christ, this is the best head I've ever had.
That's right, Head Beer is delicious.
Oh, God, this is great head.
Everyone loves Head Beer.
I love giving my husband head. It really satisfies him.
Enjoy the full-bodied flavor of Head Beer.
Now that I've had head, I don't think I'll ever want anything else.
And ladies, head's not just for men.
You know, there's nothing like getting home from work, sitting down on the couch with my husband, and giving him some thick, foamy head.
Absolutely.
Head Beer is bold.
I'm a big Head fan. Last week my friends came over for the game and my wife gave them all Head. They loved it.
Yeah! Experience the surprising flavor of Head Beer.
I love Head, but I still can't get my wife to try it. Come on, honey.
No.
Please.
I don't like the taste.
Okay, well, maybe your sister likes Head.
Okay, I'll try it. This is good head.
Do yourself a favor. Get some Head today.
Do you have feelings of inadequacy? Do you suffer from shyness? Do you sometimes wish you were more assertive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, ask your doctor or pharmacist about tequila. Tequila is the safe, natural way to feel better and more confident about yourself and your actions. Tequila can help ease you out of your shyness and let you tell the world that you're ready and willing to do just about anything. You'll notice the benefits of tequila almost immediately, and with a regimen of regular doses, you can overcome any obstacles that prevent you from living the life you want to live. Shyness and awkwardness will be a thing of the past, and you'll discover many talents you never knew you had. Stop hiding and start living with tequila. Tequila may not be right for everyone. Women who are pregnant or nursing should not use tequila. However, women who wouldn't mind nursing or becoming pregnant are encouraged to try it. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, vomiting, incarceration, erotic lustfulness, loss of motor control, loss of clothing, loss of money, loss of virginity, delusions of grandeur, table dancing, headache, dehydration, dry mouth, and a desire to sing karaoke and play all-night rounds of strip poker, truth or dare, and naked twister. Warning, the consumption of alcohol may make you think you're whispering when you're not, is a major factor in dancing like a retard, may cause you to tell your friends over and over again that you're in love with them, also may cause you to think you can sing. Alcohol may lead you to believe that ex-lovers are really dying for you to telephone them at 4 a.m. Alcohol may make you think you can logically converse with members of the opposite sex without spitting. It may create the illusion that you are tougher, smarter, faster, and better looking than most people, and it may lead you to think people are laughing with you. Alcohol may cause pregnancy, and it also may be a major factor in getting your ass kicked. So what are you waiting for? Stop hiding and start living with tequila.
Did you know that every day a brewcaster goes to bed hungry? Did you know that brewcaster is silently calling for the help of people just like you? Do you know that every day the unicorn and the rainbow have to blow sailors for loose change? For less than the cost of a half-calf, quad-shot, venti, extra-hot soy milk, triple-pump, hazel, low-fat foam, double-cupped macchiato a day, you can help starving adults in Pacheco. Your love can be felt for as little as 7 cents a day. Visit thebrewingnetwork.com/donate to sign up today for as little as $2 a month. Private first class in the BN Army. Buy your way up the ranks as corporal, sergeant, ranger, or colonel with an easy-to-do monthly donation that keeps brewcasters alive and your favorite internet radio station broadcasting. No donation is too small to help those in need. Can't you find it in your heart to share your love with a brewcaster? In return, you will enjoy the wealth of knowledge that comes with every episode of the session, The Jameel Show, and yes, even that other show. Thank you for listening, and please sign up for your donation at thebrewingnetwork.com/donate today.
What's funny is brewers will say, yeah, I don't brew to stop. I'm brewing my own beer. And it's like a German Pilsner, but it's black. Yeah, it's a sports beer. You know.
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session. You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
Welcome back, boys and girls. It's The Session, kicking it old school with Doc, and we are talking about his brew day and the whole process, and Dortmunder Export is our recipe. 888-401-BEER if you got questions, or send them to the chat room as always. And Doc, I got some questions about the last segment before we move on.
Oh, one thing I want to say is, it sounds like I do just taking this to the nth degree about making it organized and everything, and it's just kind of come over the years of brewing. This is just what I do, and it's probably the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to do it. A lot of it is because I don't like to just get up, start setting up. Half the brew day's gone, especially when I have somebody coming over to help me brew.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, a lot of people that have never brewed before come brew with me, and the last thing they want to do is see me setting up and washing pots and pans and things like that. They want to see me stirring grains and things.
Get right to it.
So, in that, it cuts everything way down. I can do stuff. I make my starters at night when I get the kids in bed.
Okay.
On the stove in the kitchen. It's 9:30 when I do it, and it takes me an hour and a half probably to cool down and pitch.
Yeah.
Nobody complains about the smell?
Nobody complains about the smell. There's nobody there. I'm not getting asked to help with homework or anything like that.
Yeah.
And which I'd rather be doing at that time, helping my kids with the homework.
Sure.
And this is guilt-free brewing.
Yeah.
As best it can be.
Okay.
And it's just everybody else's style. You make it your own style on how you make this work out, but just be prepared for it. I want to be brewing when I wake up. That's the whole thing.
Okay. So it's a routine, and it just gets you prepped, ready to go.
Yeah, it's just a routine. It's just prepped, and actually makes the brew day go a lot smoother.
Yeah,
okay.
Break it into parts, because if the brew day starts with, getting ready to brew, it becomes like work instead of a hobby.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm taking notes, fellas. Because I agree. I wake up and start cleaning equipment.
Yeah, like you guys brew.
And,
yeah.
Exactly. And it makes for a long brew day.
Yeah,
by the time we're done, forget it.
Clean the kegs before, days ahead of the time you need to rack the beer.
Yeah.
Because you'll rack the beer on time then.
Right. That's a good point. I want you to cover one thing real quick about your starter. It's a tip that you taught me. So all of us who do our starters on the stove, just like Doc's talking about, you got that overflow, you got that foam issue.
Oh yeah.
And you do it right inside the
Erlenmeyer,
right in the flask.
Mm-hmm.
You'll put that right on the heat, and I do that now too. I used to not, because it was even more apt to foam over.
Right.
Until you taught me to use that stuff?
The foam control.
It's just a little. You can get it at any homebrew shop.
Yeah. So the two things are with the Erlenmeyer is overflow.
Yeah.
And if you try to dump the DME in there, it gets all over the sides, and it's just you got clumps of it stuck to the sides. So I don't do it that way either. Quick way I do it. I put water in the Erlenmeyer, put it on the stove, let it boil. Get my stuff. I got my DME, my yeast nutrient, my foam control, and I get that out. I also get a whisk. I found the egg whisk works the best thing to break up the clumps. I've tried spoons with holes, I've tried forks, everything, but that whisk is just magic.
Okay.
I get a stainless steel mixing bowl and a funnel. So once the thing's boiling, I measure everything out into that stainless steel bowl. I put my DME in there, I put my yeast nutrient, and then I take the hot water that's boiling, I pour it in, and into the stainless steel bowl or whatever bowl, the mixing bowl, use the whisk, and I mix it, get all the clumps out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I throw the funnel into the top of the Erlenmeyer, but it's not on I take it off the heat because I don't want to put it right on the boil, and I pour it right back into the Erlenmeyer. I take 2 to 3 drops of anti-foam stuff, drop that, and I put it back on there. It starts to boil. There is no boil over.
No foam, no boil over.
No foam, no sticky clumps. It just boils. I let it boil for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I take it off, put it on the other burner, and I put some foil loosely over the top of it, and I let it settle down. Then I put it in the ice bath or a cold water bath in the sink.
Okay.
And once that's done, I oxygenate it, pitch my yeast, and throw a stir bar in there. and it's on the stir
Good
plate.
to go. Okay. All right. That's those are great tips. And someone had asked about your starter too. They want to know if you run your starter at your fermentation temp, or do you just keep it on at room temp? Doesn't matter.
It's a room temp. Yeast like to grow best at room temp. It doesn't matter if it's a lager or ale yeast because it's going to be decanted anyway.
Okay. What else do I have?
I think the whites, when they propagate like 80, something like that. So whatever the room temperature, and I don't bother to deal with that too much as far as trying to keep it at the same temperature.
Okay. All right, some other questions just about the first part. Is it bad to dump the stir bar into the carboy, Doc, when you're pitching your starter?
It is if you only have one.
Yeah, if you have plenty of stir bars, no problem. That's how I solve my problem.
Yeah, because how do you not do it? I mean, you got to then pour your starter through a screen. Or
There's a couple of ways. You can take a big magnet and you stick it on the bottom of the Erlenmeyer.
Okay.
And it'll just stay in there.
Yeah.
Or you get a stir-bar retrieval stick like I have.
Oh.
It's about 12, you can get different lengths, about a foot long, maybe a little longer. It's plastic.
Yeah.
And it's got a magnet on the end. You can just throw it in your Star Sand, reach it down into the Erlenmeyer, pull it out, and you got your stir bar.
Gotcha.
Or you're still going to forget. Everybody forgets it.
Yeah, it goes.
Plunk into the bottom of there. If you've only got one, and you're brewing pretty soon.
Yeah.
And then your next thing is how are you going to get it out of the next thing, and you forget about that, and then you dump it down the drain.
Yeah.
That's when it's bad, is because you forget that it's actually in there. I'll just pick it out when I'm done with the fermentation, and you forget, and you rinse it all out, and it's down the drain, and you don't have another stir bar.
Yeah. Okay, another question that came through from the chat, when you're talking about your water, they want to know, what does RO mean?
Oh, reverse osmosis. Mm-hmm. It's a way of filtering water. It strips out everything, though. It strips it down to pretty much just water. No other minerals or anything else in there. And that's not a good water to brew with. You won't have enough calcium, for sure, to keep the yeast happy and to help you in the mash. And then you need all the other things in there to kind of point you in the right direction for flavor.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of build it back to what you want. It's one of the reasons why I like using RO water, is that I can build my own water. It's an extra step that's a hassle for a lot of people. It's a good thing if let's say you've got really hard water and you can RO half your water and then mix it together, and then you got the mild water. The best way and the easiest way and the cheapest way of fixing your water if you've got really hard water is dilution.
Okay. Just cut it with some
Right. You can use distilled water.
Okay.
Basically, it's like distilled water, but it's used a filter to get that way.
I see.
My water's questionable because it's from a well.
Okay.
And then
so you just prefer to strip it down and start fresh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, JP, is this boiling water question a real question?
Yeah.
Okay.
From Phil in Brazil.
Okay, Phil Brazil wants to know, what does boiling the water before boiling do to the water?
Like pre-boiling your water.
Pre-boiling the water?
Mm-hmm.
It takes the carbonates out of it. And it also will take any chlorine you have in there.
Okay.
It decarbonates the water. But it only go to a certain point. But you got to remember, it also takes the calcium out too.
So you have to add that back.
So it depends. Well, it depends on where you are. If you got a lot of calcium in there you got like sulfated water, gypsumous water, then it's not going to be so bad. But usually you're boiling it to get the calcium out of there, to get the carbonate out of there. But it also combines calcium and the carbonate combines, and it makes this white chalky stuff that precipitates out. And then you rack off of that and leave the white chalky precipitate in there. So it'll take really hard carbonate water and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to also take out some calcium in there. So you're going to need to add calcium back in one form or another.
Can you say rack off and leave the white chalky stuff 5 times fast?
No. Not on those meds.
Yeah, not on those.
I'm lucky I made it through once.
Okay. Anything else on that's it for questions so far. Anything else to prep? Night before brew day is where we're at. Anything else you want to cover before we get to brew day?
I do prep things during brew day, like the hop additions.
Okay.
So I don't forget.
So you won't do that beforehand?
I don't like to leave the hops out. I like to open the hops right at the not the last minute, but on brew day when I'm doing. I don't want to let them sitting out overnight.
Yeah.
But just to go over that quickly, I'll take paper bowls. We got a lot of them around the house. And I'll each hop edition, if I'm going to use 3 different hop editions at 60, 20, and 0, I'll mark each bowl with 60, 20, and 0. I'll measure out the hops, all the hops that are going in 60 minutes, and I'll mix them all in the bowl. Usually in the 20-minute bowl, I'll put in either the Irish Moss or what's the Whirl Flock. I'll put those tablets in there with the hops. That way when I throw them in there, I don't forget doing that. 'Cause how many times I've forgotten.
The Whirl Flock.
I got the Whirl Flock sitting over there. And
yeah.
I guess I could throw them in the fermenter, but it wouldn't do the same thing.
Okay.
So, and then I stack them in reverse order. So I just grab them and they go. Or if I really it's one of those brew days that should be hectic, I'll even put the time on them. I'll write on the side what time they go in.
Yeah.
The key point there, Doc, is you said on a hectic brew day, and that to me, that's what you're doing. Is what I really appreciate is if you can make it so that the brew session is less hectic, it's like a lot more fun. It really is.
It is. So what time did we put those in? Let's stress you on. What time did we put those in? What time?
Much more relaxing.
And you're like, I wrote on the bowl 11:45 hop edition. Yeah. You know what? It's 11:40.
Yeah.
You know, I know what's going in in 5 minutes. I don't even have to do any math. It's just there.
See, I actually do that same thing with the hop editions, and I've been doing it since day one so that I don't have to do any math, because I'm awful at math. So I've always been writing the exact time that goes in, so I don't even have to think about whether it's a 20-minute or a 10-minute. I just know what time it goes in. Yeah. That's it.
So I save all that stuff for actually when I got the burners lit and I'm waiting for the water to heat up to mash temperature, or during the mash when I got downtime.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're on brew day morning, huh?
Yeah, I guess
That's
so.
pretty much all the prep. Everything's ready to go. You walk into the brew house and things are clean. You've got water in the kettle already?
Water and salt's in the kettle. Everything's ready to go.
Okay.
I've turned the gas, get the thing lit, set the temperatures, let it go.
Do you have a beer before you light the gas or after?
It depends on if I'm doing a night brew or a morning brew.
I see.
In the morning, when I was drinking coffee, I would go like that, go back in, sit and have a cup of coffee, maybe watch the news, come back out, and it's about that temperature.
Gotcha.
And get that going. Now, if it's like a Friday night beer, I'm having a beer beforehand.
Yeah.
I get it lit and have the beer ready to go.
What time are we starting on Monday?
We'll talk about that.
I'm just trying to plan my beer drinking around this, so I'm going to need to know, Doc, ahead of time, okay?
I always think about, if you're brewing with me, what's the earliest I can even think about getting you in here?
That's a good point. Well, especially after Sunday's show, it's going to be, you got to have Bevo drunk of the week next week.
Well, that goes into planning too. What time do I want to be done by?
Yeah.
And so then I'll actually start reverse planning that one if I want to be done by 6.
So if you've done all this prep that we've talked about, how long is your brew day?
Depends on the beer.
Yeah.
It really does. Depends on the mash. Depends on a lot of things. It can be short. It can be as short as 5 hours.
Okay. That's as quick as it gets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's cleaned up. It could be, it could be that Doppelbock we made 12 hours later.
Yeah. That's true too. Okay. Good enough.
So it just depends on what we're brewing and what we're going through technique-wise to make it. If I'm doing a new technique, something I haven't tried before, it's going to take me longer.
All right.
Or if, in fact, you're making 25 gallons, for instance, the transfer times are going to be longer.
Exactly. And heating time is going to be worse. Yeah. It takes a lot longer to heat that much water.
So this is going to be a long beer, even though it's a rather low-gravity beer. It's going to be long to make.
All right. Let's move on. You got the water heating. Water's in. Water's heating. I usually try to get... that's a good time I can start hooking up hoses and making sure the valves are in the right positions, and I'm not going to be spilling things on the floor.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Or on your foot.
Or on my foot. Yeah.
Yeah, especially now. You won't even feel it on the one foot.
No.
Not for a while anyway, not till it's too late.
Yeah. I got hot work going down the cast.
Oh, man. That would suck.
Yes, it does.
All right.
So then we just start working that up, and I try to keep one step ahead of it. What's coming up next, and think about that instead of waiting until the time. Oh, I know I got to do something at 8. What's that? So we get that going. Once I get the temperature up for both the hot liquor tank and the mash tun, that's when I stir in the grains. Get that stirred in pretty well, and start my first leg of my. I usually do step mashes.
You do, okay.
And once that's going, and I've got the step mash going, then I'm pretty much recirculating all the time. I've got a recirculating system, and I just keep that going all the time. It's a lot easier to change. It keeps the more uniform temperature in the mash.
Okay.
And keep that at a level that I need. Then,
what will our strike temp be for this Dortmunder we're doing?
We're going to start out with a protein rest at about 113.
Okay.
Actually, beta-glucan rested at low, and then we're going to go into the low 40s probably, and then low mid-50s probably, and then mash out.
Yeah, mash out. Mash out at 170?
With your cock out. Oh, that's what Chad does. I forgot.
Yeah, that's how Chad mashes out.
Is that why you're here all the time, McDowell?
Yeah, 168, 170.
Okay.
We'll do that, and then we'll... I like a mash out. It keeps my beer where it's supposed to be. If we're doing a long sparge, your enzymes are still working, and they're gonna keep working and maybe make you a thinner beer than you really wanted.
Okay.
Or it'll change the beer, so I can stop all the enzymes pretty much if I do a mash out.
Okay.
It'll make for a clearer beer at the end.
And we've covered this in other episodes if you want it more in depth. I think we did a whole mashing show where we covered this. It's like a sealant doing the mash out.
Right.
Stops it all.
Helps the efficiency. You get more sugars out when they're looser.
You do that too, Tasty?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you're doing thick gummy beer, like a rye beer or a wheat beer, you're gonna have trouble getting the sugars out, because everything, as it gets a little cooler, it's going to be thicker and gummier and syrupy. Yeah, gelatinous. It's easier to sparge and have a better runoff when it's a little hotter.
Okay.
That way.
All right.
It helps all the way around. So once I get that, I start the runoff and the sparge arm going. I'll get probably a couple of inches of beer in the bottom of the kettle, I start a low flame, because it's just going to cool once it gets in there. And then I've got and I don't wait till the thing's full to start the flame.
Yeah.
Then you're reheating the beer back up, and you can add another half an hour sometimes trying to get it to boil.
Absolutely. See, that's something that Shat and I have to fix about our system. Ours is all gravity, but we don't have a brew stand, so we've got to put our kettle on the floor so that we can get the liquid from the mash tun. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so we have to wait till we've completely sparged, then we put the kettle back up on the burner and start heating it. You're right, and it adds a bunch of time. I'd much rather be able to... We need to get that mash tun higher so that we can turn on the heat when we've got a couple inches in there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's yeah, that's going to save a bunch of time. I think it'll probably save us at least 30 minutes being able to do that at minimum.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would imagine you're close to boil by the time you're done sparging.
Yeah, it's in the 190s by the time I'm done sparging.
Okay. And how long, do you have a rule of thumb for the sparge? Do you want it to take an hour? Or is it just as long as it's nice and slow, you don't care how long? You see what I mean? Do you always go for...
It's an eyeball thing. I look in there and see how fast it's coming out. If it's coming out too fast, then I know my efficiency is going to go down.
Okay.
I've experimented with too fast, too slow, and it's just an eyeball thing. I know my system. I know how fast it comes out. It usually does take about 40 minutes.
Okay. When you say you experimented with too fast and too slow, did you notice some really noticeable differences in your efficiency?
Yeah.
Yeah? If you went too fast?
If I went too fast, I did lose quite a bit of efficiency out of it.
If there's one of
I didn't hit the numbers I was expecting, basically, and that's what I don't like, is when I don't hit my numbers.
Right. In terms of efficiency and homebrewing, too, there's Olin in one of the More Beer podcasts. It's a couple months ago. If you look on the More Beer site, you'll see it. He talks about doing real quick mashes, sparges, and even boils. He talks about this abbreviated brew day, and it's worth listening to. Go check it out. And what he talks about is, yes, I do lose efficiency, but I add more grain. Big
I own
deal.
the Homebrew Supply Store.
Yeah, he's good. He's in good shape. Well, but before the prices had gone up just now, we all really could have done that. We're talking minimal, another pound of grain. How much is that?
No, it's a good point.
Right? Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. You could go faster if you didn't mind throwing in more grain to make up for the efficiency loss.
I don't even mind less efficiency. It's just when I'm planning to hit certain numbers, my recipe relies on those certain numbers. So I'm going to come up with a different beer. It might be a good beer, but it's going to be a different beer.
Right.
Yeah. And we're getting to the next thing. As soon as I'm done running off, and I've got I'll take a measurement of the volume, and then I'll take a hydrometer measure or a refractometer measure, and then I crunch some numbers, and I know where I'm supposed to be. I know how much water's going to come off, and I know how much I've got to boil. So I got my pre-boil numbers set, which tell me how much I'm going to have to boil off to hit my post-boil gravity. And that's what I'm shooting for.
Okay. Hey, JP.
Yo.
Is this they want us to recover mash out?
Just briefly, and someone asked in the chat, and they answered in the chat, but for the
well, like I said, there's a whole other show on, and I think we did a whole mash show where we covered it, and we covered it pretty well here. It's essentially Doc will raise the temperature, not just the sparge water. Sparge water is something different, but his final temperature before sparging will be up around
of the mash.
Oh,
at least 168. Don't want to go above 175.
Okay. So he's done all of his steps, which I think he said 113 will be his first step, and then it'll go up to
in the 40s and then 150s, and then I'll mash out about 168 to 170. What it does is it kills off all the enzymes, so they're not active anymore. Once you obliterate the enzymes, by cooling it back down, they don't come back.
Do you have to leave it there for a time, or just once you get to 168?
10 minutes
okay.
Just about 10 minutes. It's all enzymes things. It's all a matter of time. It's a time balance thing. You're not going to kill all your enzymes. So your strike water was too hot, and you're supposed to mash in at 152, and you're at 158. If you cool it down pretty fast, you'll still be okay. It's not an instantaneous kind of thing.
Okay. All right, so leave it there for 10 minutes, and then you just start sparging from there. Okay, great.
Yeah, that was it. I think that's all it really needed, just a brief.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, then. Where are we? We're now...
Chad, can I get some water?
Having finished sparge.
Or something.
We got a little pause here.
And boil it first.
You mentioned the
something to drink.
Pre-boil versus the final post-boil gravities. It's a point that just drives me nuts. That's really... You want to be able to repeat a beer. So in order to repeat... You make the same beer twice, you need to be able to hit that pre-boil gravity the same way every time, which means you need to know your efficiency.
Yeah.
That is, be able to make, and it'll vary by which beer you're making. If you're making like a beer that requires lots of grain and you can only mash so much grain.
With so much water.
With so much water, you're going to have a different efficiency. But if you know that and you can predict the pre-boil gravity, that's really, and if you miss the pre-boil gravity, your recipe is basically, you can throw it out the window, right? Because now you're making either a heavier beer or a lighter beer, and the hops you've programmed into your system are wrong. You need to change those hops.
Your hop bitterness and your gravity units are the ratio is gonna be different.
Yeah, you're making a different beer.
And it's really it's a very valuable tool once you start using pre-boil gravity. Most, I think, novice brewers, certainly myself, you don't take gravity until you're done boiling, and maybe not even then, of course. Yeah. But once I started using ProMash and realized all the functions and all the things I could figure out by taking a pre-boil gravity, it really did. I certainly didn't help me make good beer, but it changed the way I looked at brewing. Things stopped becoming hit or miss at the end of the boil. It stopped being like, oh, now I'm done boiling. Let's find out if I hit my number. Jackpot,
Yeah.
It became very predictable.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a pre-boil gravity. Yeah. So it's an excellent point, McDowell. You really should be doing that.
So you take your pre-boil gravity times your pre-boil volume, and you divide it by your post-boil gravity that you want to have. It'll tell you how many gallons that you're supposed to. That if you boil down to those gallons, you will hit your number.
Oh, I see.
And that's how pre-boil and post-boil relate.
Okay.
So that's your way of dialing in what you need to dial in.
So if you've got one of those fancy glass tubes on the side of your kettle, or if you just have a stick...
That's what I use. I use a stick.
That you've marked exactly how many gallons are in your kettle on there. That's an excellent tip there, Doc. Just boil down to that mark and you're good to go.
Right.
You know then that you're at where you're supposed to be.
It's just a little bit of arithmetic and it's real easy.
The more you know, the more you can do, because like if you know where it's going to be, you can recalculate where the 20-minute hops are added.
Yeah.
Not so much the clock.
What's that
the gravity
equation again?
I like turtles.
Just put pre-boil volume times pre-boil gravity equals post-boil gravity times post-boil volume. And then whatever is your X value, solve for X. So divide by the other one.
Yeah, okay.
And because it just works out that way. Because your gravity units, the same amount of sugar is going to be in there. It's just going to be more or less concentrated. If you know how much volume boils off your system per hour, you're going to know. Say you boil off a gallon per hour.
Or 15% or something.
Or whatever it is. And then so you know that I got to boil off a gallon. You know, they're going to be boiling for an hour.
Yeah.
And so you'll know what your volume and what time it is. You can say you got to boil for an hour and 15 minutes, but your hop additions are set up for an hour. Well, boil for 15 minutes and then start with your hops at 60 minutes and then boil the rest of it that way. So it's just a ways of tweaking it in. So that you don't have to get all weirded out about your numbers ahead of time. You can fix it.
That's what breweries do. I mean, they get different crops of grains and stuff, and things vary. It's just they adjusted those things in flight like that.
And we don't have to be consistent like they do for different reasons. They got to be consistent or nobody's going to buy their beer over and over again. We do it to be consistent so we can get what we planned.
Yeah. Or if you end up with a great beer, you want to make it again.
Right. Yeah. Or you could make a great beer by missing all your numbers.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different than what you wanted. You just promised your father-in-law to make him his favorite beer for his birthday, and you didn't do it.
He gives them completely different.
Yeah. You want an 11% beer, and you got this cheap-ass 9% beer. What's the deal here?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
It's one pissed off drunken dad.
Yeah, it is.
Pissed off sober dad.
Yeah. Semi-drunken dad.
You all right, JP?
I like turtles.
All right.
Yeah,
so have we started our boil now?
Yes.
Okay.
We've started our boil. We've taken our pre-boil numbers in the volume, and we've decided how long we have to boil, how far down we have to boil to. You can figure how long you need to do that.
Yeah.
And then when you need to add your hops. And remember, they always say 60 minutes from the end of the boil. This is not how long you're going to boil. I'm adding my hops 60 minutes to the end of the boil, 45 minutes till the end of the boil. You know, most, like this beer, we're going to be boiling for at least 90 minutes. It's a lot of Pilsner malt in there. I want to get rid of as much DMS as I can. And you're going to get rid of that by boiling. Part of this tweaking this recipe was these hops are different, so I have to when I put the hops in and how much hops I put in.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be boiling the hops for 90 minutes most likely. I'm going to be boiling for 60 minutes.
Okay.
So I planned on that ahead of time, but we're still going to be boiling for 90 minutes.
And one thing you do, regardless, that I had asked you about once too, is you do wait for the protein break before you add hops, no matter what. Because of that because you don't want to have a foam over and lose them.
Oh, there's that, and it helps with the coagulation. It helps with the hop utilization.
Okay. So new guys, what we're talking about basically is, you get that point where you either boil over or you almost boil over, depending on how prepared you are. That's that protein break we're talking about.
I get the boil going. And then you start to see, after about 5 to 10 minutes, you start to see the egg drop soup looking thing with these floaties just churning around in there. Once you hit that, that's the hop break.
Yeah.
Once you get that going, then you can start adding the hops in there.
After it settles down and kind of...
As soon as you start seeing the egg drop soup thing going, then you can start adding the hops in there. And be careful, if you dump them all in there, you're going to get a boil over.
Yeah.
That way too.
Trickle them in there.
Yeah. Throw them in there a little at a time, but it's just a better utilization.
Okay.
To get the hop break going first.
All right.
So,
and then, so you do your regular hop additions. That's pretty standard. You know, we know what time they're supposed to go in. You're following the recipe. Right. There has been some talk about when to put in the Wurflock, like the basic instructions. They say 20 minutes. People have said on this show, people that I trust have said you should do it at the end, like 5 minutes, that it will work better really close to the end. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I thought it was 10. I guess I'm in the
middle. You thought
again.
10? Yeah.
I've heard people that put them in there half an hour, too.
Really? Wow.
Do you think it makes a difference?
I haven't seen any difference.
Okay.
I like to leave them boiling around in there for at least 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
I want them in the boil. I want them to help coagulate stuff, because basically they're going to more help with the cold break.
Yeah.
And the more that they can get in there and work and help coagulate some of these proteins and stick them together into bigger pieces that are going to drop out, the better.
All right. So 10 to 15.
Doesn't mean boiling for half an hour or anything, or for an hour. But
yeah, I think that people have come in and said, 30 minutes, and you may not get the coagulation you want. It's in there for too long. They wanted it closer to the end so that you do get that coagulation you're talking about.
I usually go 15 or 20.
Okay.
Usually. Unless I forget about them, and then they're
don't do it at all.
They're sitting on the bench. And,
Yeah. Well, that's a great tip. You said to put it in with your 20-minute hop addition or your 10-minute hop addition. That way, if you're not going to forget to put your hops in.
And if you're still using Irish moss, hydrate it first. Don't throw it in there dry.
Okay.
Put it in a cup of warm water, and let it sit. I used to do it right at the beginning of the boil. I would have a cup with some Irish moss in there. That a lot of times didn't get thrown in. But go to that trouble of rehydrate it first and then put it in.
Okay.
And it works a lot better that way.
What about quantity? Like, you're making 20 gallons, so how much Wurflock you putting in? How many tablets per se?
Put usually 3, maybe 4 in there.
So you are sticking to the 1 tablet per 5 gallon rule.
Hey, it's their product. Let them tell me how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I know, and that's what we always follow too, and then I wish I could remember who it was that came in here and said it.
Yeah.
With our 10-gallon batch, I'm only putting in 1 now, and whoever said it was like, you're doing fine with 1, it's more than enough.
Was it Plisay, maybe? Somebody at B3, I think, said that. Or something.
I don't
or maybe
know.
It was Jamil.
I want to see, I always do that to poor Jamil. I don't want to say it was Jamil, because I'm always quoting him, and he writes me, and he's like, dude, that wasn't me.
I think it was Grammer's.
It might have been Chris Graham, yeah.
Yeah, we heard that from one of the reps at Brewer Supply Group. I think it was Ian, actually, who told us that.
Well, let's say it this way. You're not hurting anything by putting in more, are you?
It's not like you're putting 20 of them in there.
Yeah, I put 1 in my 10-gallon batches, and I mean, I'm not going to sit there and get a pill cutter and cut it all properly. Who cares, man?
You can just cut up a line.
I've come up where I've come up short. I haven't had enough of them.
Yeah, but you're just
and I don't cry about it.
Yeah, okay. And then you'll just put, a couple in. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, if I got some in there, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Doc, the chat is really bummed that you're not boozing it up right now. they're like,
he's so mellow.
People who could just, they're slowly trickling in and like, oh man, Doc sounds hammered. And they're like, no, he's just doped up. And like, oh, that's not cool.
Oh yeah,
druggies on this program.
I'm not feeling any pain right now.
That's good. I gotta say, it is kind of a different show. It's a different feel in here than it has been of late. But I think it's actually kind of refreshing. It's very slow moving and deliberate, but I'm not bored. I mean, usually when they're like this, I'm bored out of my mind. I need it to be a little more fast paced. But it's not boring at all. You're doing fine, Doc.
Yeah, thanks for the spotlight here.
You're hovering about a foot above that chair you're sitting in, but you're doing fine.
There is no Doc, only Zool.
All right, Speedy, what else we got going on?
Okay, so if I'm putting anything else in the beer, spices or with a wit like lemon zest or orange zest, things like that, I got to make some time to do that. When you're zesting citrus fruit, it takes a lot longer than you think it does.
Yeah.
It's not a 10-minute thing, scrape some peels and throw it in there. It takes a lot longer. So allow time for that. Also, I always start to get real mellow about this time in the process where I forget that I've got a dirty conical or thing that I got to get that going.
Yeah.
So once everything's sparged, I've got a counterflow chiller I've got to sanitize. So what I do with that, I put some more water back in the hot liquor tank and boil it, get it boiling, and I put the counterflow chiller on a loop.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back in there, and I pump it through, and the boiling water sanitizes that. It just pumps it around and around through the chiller and back into the hot liquor tank.
You said pump it.
Yeah.
So you don't worry about chemicals at all for that sanitation, just boiling water?
No, I just use boiling water. It's all metal, and it's been washed out. I wash it out as soon as I'm done with it.
Yeah.
With the boiling water, too. So I don't worry too much about it. I really don't want to put chemicals on my copper.
Okay.
I worry about leaching things or changing the copper.
All right.
Or not get it all rinsed out. So I just, it's just so easy just to pump boiling water through it.
Okay.
Except pump again.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure that you don't just get lackadaisical in the middle. Oh, it's boiling, and you're just sitting there having a couple of beers with whoever's around, and then it's time to end the boil.
Yeah.
And I haven't put the chiller in. I haven't got anything going. Then it just slows it all back down.
And you get stressed out. You don't want stress.
And then I get stressed out again.
You don't want stress,
so
man.
I just keep moving on. Sometimes I have a checklist. Sometimes I don't. Depends on if I got more than one or two people brewing with me. I can get sidetracked real easy.
Yeah.
So because they're asking me questions about what's this for, what's that for, and I do not look forward to sanitizing conicals and putting lines together and stuff like that. So it's not that fun. So I'll easily get sidetracked and do something else.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that you got to have the other equipment ready to go. And I don't want to sanitize my conicals the night before.
Right.
I pretty much have it done right there.
Okay.
So once I get everything, once the boil's coming to an end, I use a immersion chiller too. I want to get it down. I whirlpool, so I want to get it down below or around 100 as fast as I can, and I can't really do that with the counterflow.
So you're doing both.
I do both because it'll drop it down really fast from 212 down to 110 or so, and that's down below DMS level.
Let me ask you this about the immersion chiller. I think a lot of people are using this. What do you do to clean that before you're putting it in?
I scrub it, get it clean. Star Sand cleans it up pretty good. It gets all it's an acid solution, so it gets a lot of the corrosion and stuff off of it.
So that's all I do.
I just mostly get the crud off of it. And then I put it into the boil about 15 minutes ahead of time, and that'll sanitize. As long as it's clean, I'm not putting gummy crap back in my
But you're
beer.
not worried if it's discolored and stuff. I mean, it's always going to be, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not unless it's got, old stuff stuck to it.
Right. But as long as it's not clumpy, it's...
Right. As long as it's just a little bit coppery color.
Yeah.
A little bit...
Sure comes out of the boil shiny.
Yeah. Well, that goes into the beer, too.
See, I worry about it because, it looks very germy to me, and that kind of freaks me out. But there's no other way to clean. I'm also too lazy to scrub the thing down too much.
If you put in a bucket of Star Sand, it'll get really clean.
Okay, that's pretty much what I do. I do that. I'll rub it with a sponge, and then I'll put it in.
And there's schools of thought that say you shouldn't put the clean stuff in there. Other people say you shouldn't put the tarnished stuff in there. And
all right.
Whatever makes you feel better.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. It ain't making or breaking my beer, that's for sure.
Just clean it. I scrub it off with a scouring pad when I'm done, just to get the hot break off of it.
Yeah,
and everything.
The other thing I do is I'm using Jamil's immersion / whirlpool device. You go to MrMulti.com and you'll see what I'm talking about if you don't know. So you'll take boiling water and run it through your counterflow.
Right. I
can't do that. I don't have an extra vessel.
Or counterflow.
Right, but I am running wort through this pipe in the so it's the same principle in terms of it's touching copper that I've not sanitized. So I put that in, and I'll come out the bottom of the kettle. I'll take the boiling wort, so 15 minutes to the end of the boil, and I'll just run that wort through it and right back in.
Right. It's as long as it's boiling water, it's fine.
But I'm putting a bunch of goop in there still.
Rinse it out with water when you're done. Rinse it out before you start. You'll be okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Just always worried about the goop.
Yeah, you should.
It's boiled goop, though.
Yeah, okay.
Especially if your goop is discolored or clumpy.
Yeah.
Then you should go see a doctor.
Yeah, so just make sure
and if your goop burns when it comes out, you should also go see a doctor. When?
No.
Okay.
Well, hey, just before you guys get off the subject of copper, there's a couple questions in the chat that are best expressed via my voice, I think. What if the copper is green? People are saying that's bad. That's like poison.
Okay.
And what if it's discolored at all? like especially like green and blue, like not just tarnished,
not that black discoloration, but actual
not
colors.
Just like from you, actual multiple colors,
oxidized,
and not copper colored.
Yeah, I would get rid of that somehow.
Just get
just
rid
like
of it.
scrub it off.
You scrub it off, like I said, Star Sand works
lend it
well.
to a friend.
Lend it to a friend. Let him
give it to a new guy.
See if it's all right. And it's hard to get in between the rings. Of the chiller.
It's a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, but you can spread them apart.
Yeah,
and then scrub and then push them back together. I mean, copper's pretty malleable.
So much work.
I know.
But yeah, if you got green gunk, you got to do that, right?
Clean it off beforehand and let it dry. It's not going to turn that color.
So if you're getting that sort of thing, you're doing something wrong in the first place, is what you're saying. Okay.
Treat it a little bit better next time.
Yeah.
Or you can soak it. I've soaked it in like light vinegar solution.
Vinegar solution. You get some muriatic acid, which is like pool acid.
Okay.
And just dilute it a lot and make just a slight acidic acid in a 5-gallon bucket. Put it in there. It'll come out really clean.
Okay.
And just make sure you rinse it really well and then dry it.
What about PBW? Will that do the same thing to it? A bucket of PBW? No? Okay.
It'll clean the gunk off of it, but it won't
take
do
that stuff.
It won't do the tarnish thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if you got the green and black or bluish, don't put that in your beer.
Okay. All right, we're going to break soon, so let's get moving a little bit.
Okay.
So you've recirced your counterflow chiller. You've got that ready to go.
And I'm whirlpooling.
Yeah.
So once everything, I turn the flame off and I'm whirlpooling, I cover it.
Okay.
And get the whirlpool going. I whirlpool for probably about 10 or 15 minutes before I even get the chiller going.
Okay. So you're keeping it hot up there while you're doing the whirlpool.
Yep.
All right.
And
then how? And then
actually,
how long?
I don't even cover it at that point.
You don't. Okay. Because you still want.
It's still hot enough.
Still above temp.
It's still steam's coming off it. Yeah. So then I'll start the chiller, get it down as fast as I can, down below 120, 130. Then we're more in the safe zone. It's covered by that point. Get everything hooked up water wise with my other chiller
for the counterflow.
The conicals probably at this point already it still has Star Sand in it.
Yeah.
With the Star Sand, I don't fill my whole conical all the way up. I'll use it. I'll fill it partly way with the Star Sand solution, and I'll use a sponge, new sponge. I don't use the old one.
Good idea.
I get a new sponge, and I just sponge the sides.
Do you use a new sponge every brew session?
Yeah.
You do?
Mm-hmm. I don't trust.
You guys think I'm a germaphobe? Listen to this guy.
I don't know what's been in the sponge.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want to use it.
I use my bottle brush to.
Yeah, bottle brush will work.
Okay.
But Costco, you can get the Bricko sponges.
Yeah.
And they're cheap.
Use it once, toss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can use it on. I won't use you toss it. That'll be the next cleaning. I'll throw my old one, throw the old one in. That's my new scrubbing.
Okay.
Sponge for around the brew house.
Just not your sanitation sponge. Right. Okay. I gotcha.
So then I'll get that drained and I'll put that into a keg. Usually, I don't just dump it out.
It's good that you drain it.
Yeah. You know anybody that has
some people don't do that all the time.
Well, since this is the kicking it old school show, we might as well rehash it. Yes, it's good to drain it. Don't leave the Star Sand in your fermentation vessel.
Right. So next thing is I keep this Star Sand and I'll put it into a keg, and it stays good as long as the keg's sealed.
Okay.
Get all the hoses hooked up, start running off, and especially if I'm doing a lager, I want to get it into the conical as cold as I can get it.
Okay.
I'm a cold pitcher.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
So I want to get it really cold. I don't rely on the conical to bring the temperature down. It takes way too long. Way too much energy. So I try to get it in the conical as cold as I can. And that mostly has to do, I'll use a pre-chiller. The tap water runs through my first immersion chiller that I made myself in an ice bucket. So it actually pre-chills my chilling water. So it's almost,
almost freezing.
Almost freezing.
Yeah.
It cools it down, and then it's a matter of how fast you're running it through there. If you run it through fast, it's not going to cool down. If you run it through pretty slow, it'll work fine.
You hear that, Shat? Shat argues with me about this every time. About the speed that your water should be traveling through your immersion chiller.
That's not known as, I'm talking about the beer speed traveling through there.
Same difference, though. You want it to be in contact with the copper for a longer period of time rather than a short period of time, because it will draw off more of the heat.
Yeah. Well, you're looking, if you're depending on how fast you're running your chilling water through there, it has to do with the efficiency and how much water you're going to be losing.
Yeah.
You can run it through as fast as you want, but you're still going to take the same amount of heat out of there.
So with the
but you're going to waste a lot more water.
See, I was pumping my water through my immersion chiller.
He said pump.
As fast as I could.
You could.
And you came over and saw that, Doc, and you said you'll be more efficient in drawing off heat if you slow that down.
You're more efficient in not wasting water.
Wasting water.
Yeah.
If you don't care about the water, like you're doing, it's great. Let it rip.
Oh, well, there you go, Shat. You've been right all along. I'll
if
stop
you slow it
arguing
down
with
way too much, then
Thank you.
It's going to get to a point where it's not going to be taking out enough heat.
Right.
So
is that how old school we are? Is we're complimenting Shat?
Yeah, I guess
Hey, what
so.
about the whirlpool? When do you stop? Like, okay, so you got your whirlpool and the water running. You cut the water, cut the whirlpool, and do you wait like 10 minutes before you transfer?
Yes. Or if not more.
You don't even if you've been whirlpooling long enough, it's going to be already in a cone.
Okay.
Already like that. So, and I have to cut off the whirlpool to revalve so I can have the work go through the other chiller. So I can't be doing it at the same time. I can't be pulling off the wort at the same time.
But there's still a bunch of junk floating around that whirlpool. You want the whirlpool to stop.
You can. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
Few minutes.
Well, then when you start drawing off, and it's whirlpooling, you're not taking that much off at a time.
No, you're not. Because
whirlpool's not going to sense that.
I'm going to be pulling off pretty slow coming out of there because I don't want it to go through the other chiller really fast. If I'm doing an ale, it's not too bad.
For a lager.
But for a lager, I'm going to try to get it down to 50.
Wow. You're transferring it to the
conical at 50.
Good Lord. That's a super chiller.
Yeah. It is.
Wow.
So
who does that? Nobody does that.
Well, no, a lot of people do that.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do? Are you transferring that cold too?
No. I'm pretty much.
What temperature are you transferring?
Well, I do it. I don't use ice, so
yeah.
My water's my water, and if it's too hot, I put 5 gallons in a sanitized keg.
Yeah.
And put it in a cooler overnight. And I'll pitch in the morning.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. Shame on you. Waiting overnight.
Well, I'd rather pitch in the morning than pitch high.
Yeah. And you use the Therminator as your...
Yeah, well, yeah. But my water temperature, Therminator, counterflow, whatever.
Yeah.
It's your temperature of your water that really drives the whole thing.
Hence the ice bath.
Yeah. It's a pre-chiller that runs through... Because you got these guys in Texas and Florida, their tap water is 75, 80 degrees in the summertime.
Yeah, you got to pre-chill that.
Or
you should.
Or they're not going to get much help out of that. If you're gonna use an ice bath, you don't need to use it for the first 80 to 90 degrees. Just save it.
Okay.
Just use your regular tap water to get it down to that point. Then switch over to a pre-chiller with ice bath. And you can use a pre-chiller a lot of different ways. One of the things that I started and some other people have done is they just take an old garden hose, a longer one. They put it in one of those red muck buckets or trash can, and they flow water into that, and it's coiled up into this trash can, and put ice water in the trash can, and then it comes back out, and that's their pre-chiller, and it works pretty well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to build or buy anything else. Ice can be pretty cheap. You can take anything you want. I mean, everybody's got room in their freezer. Just take some Tupperware, or I use
pet bottles.
I use these kind of bottles that are just
water bottles.
Water bottles. Freeze those, throw those in there. It's free ice. You just got the space in the freezer. You got to use.
If you're in the desert, you go to the ice store. Just want everyone to know, to remember. Go to the ice store.
They have those?
Yeah, they have an ice store. Of course they do. It's a desert. You don't just make ice at home at the desert. You go to the ice store.
You wouldn't need to. If you got
There's a lot of ice stores. They probably need them more there than we would here.
Yeah.
Truck drives by, little ice guy on it. It's from the ice store.
Trucks.
Here's a question from the chat for you. Wants me to ask you. He says, I use an immersion whirlpool chiller, just like mine. I'm creating too many... He says, I am creating too many shear forces and having trouble with loose trube piles. Should I be pumping faster or slower?
Faster. Yeah, always faster.
I would think if you could probably reorient his return, the thing that goes in that makes the whirlpool. Just bend the copper around so you get a better whirlpool out. Try that first.
Okay, maybe it's not a efficient enough.
Maybe it's
whirlpool.
not an efficient enough whirlpool that it's
the right angle.
The right angle on it.
Yeah, sometimes it's not how fast or slow you go; it's the angle you drive.
Oh, that's what she said.
Just saying, Not that I.
So I would try that first and see what happens. I've tried the whirlpool when I first started out about stirring it.
Yeah.
Do I stir real fast? Do I stir real slow? Do I keep stirring just constantly? And
it's amazing the things we worry about as homebrewers. Who cares? I mean, think about it. We get so detailed about these things. Who gives a shit?
Well, keep in mind, it's our escape. If we have to escape to it,
we have to.
I mean, we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yes.
There would be nothing to talk about if we stopped harping on these details.
Right.
It just sometimes I sit back and go, good Lord, what are we talking about?
Are we anal or what?
Yeah.
Everybody hears about something new. What? I've never been whirlpooling before.
Yeah.
My beer's shit.
All right, we're gonna take a break, and even if we have to wrap this segment up after the break, that's fine.
Okay.
We're still gonna get to fermenting, finishing, and those kind of things. We're gonna cover all of that stuff. So let's do that. Let everybody take a pee break. When we come back, we're gonna wrap things up with Doc.
When are you gonna disclose things?
I still have a groundbreaking announcement.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll do that after the Doc discussion.
Can you give some hints? Is it of a personal nature? Is it a professional nature? Is it
all of the above?
Orientation?
All of the above. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss out. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Sullivan, the brewmaster and co-founder of the 21st Amendment Brewery and Restaurant in San Francisco. 6 years ago, Nico Freccia and I opened the 21st Amendment on 2nd Street with the intent of bringing back the local neighborhood brew pub. Well, the neighborhood has really changed over the years, but the 21st Amendment still remains a great place for people to meet over a terrific meal and a tasty pint of beer. In the past, the only way you could enjoy the 21st Amendment's handcrafted beers was at the brew pub. Well, all that has changed. Now, the 21st Amendment beers are available in cans. That's right, cans. When was the last time you had a great beer in a can? Well, that day has come. We're offering our world-famous Watermelon Wheat and 21A IPA in cans. Cans are a better package than glass because cans keep the beer fresher longer, but you can also take cans to places where bottles can't go, like the beach, lake, golf courses, and sporting events. So join us in the revolution to take back the can from the big breweries and crack open a cold 21A craft beer in a can. The 21st Amendment, 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park.
Sunday night, 5 o'clock rolls around. What's that sound? The voice of the brewing underground. I rush home. What's with the Abacast stream? Goddamn, it's almost time. Why don't you work? Fucking thing, it's 5:02. I reboot. Ass hat iTunes. I hope Justin made the free FM commute. I'm on. Thank God, not a moment too soon. Holy shit, I just got booted out of the chat room. I won't rack, motherfucker, when you do your risking. O2, I'll hail the Pope. Jay-Z, do like he told you. Do what he say. Well, okay, at least mostly. And hit that fucking whirlpool Viagra roaster. Sometimes I don't, and I won't bitch more than a little bitch. Vile of that sweet shit that likes life and aerobic. Damn, my yeast will not prove and fucking booze being rude. Boom, there goes the blow off tune and fuck this old chat room. I want out, Justin Chef, there goes my chocolate stout. And I never want to hear the word run high skip out. I give up, 50G, why don't you push eject me? I'm screaming Gucci when D pushes me off the screen. Jamil, JP, Johnny G, I can't think, but then I hear Doc's little voice in my ear screaming, drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink. The BN. Got me going for a silver or gold. The BN. But do I bitch form a cold? The BN. Crew, get unrefined. The Brewing Network. Life save 5 gallons at a time. The BN. Got me going for a silver or gold. The BN. Don't know to pitch warm or cold. The BN. Crew, get unrefined. The Brewing Network. Life save 5 gallons at a time. I need some TBN Bach. What a shocker, so he's holding his stock. Tick-tock, the visas unlocked, Sean. Knock, knock, doc. Can you walk the walk? Pull out an airlock. A cock in his world flock. There's no my box. Into the mash goes a blood crack like a true breeder. It's type of pale ale, my man, Boogeeta. Flew for you beer nerds, that's Travis you just heard. The only man I know whose name is a cuss word. Come hang with James, I'm a Justin Haggerty. And no one understands a word Daniela says. Either Biscuit the Pit Bull or Code right in full will sniff your crack. If you got the Jane hat, do line excel, where's my hat? Yo, 5-pound Matt Bet, trans, a low fat, and lunch meat some grab ass. And what about Crouch Rock? He's more than just down the block. And then there's homegrown hops, he's missing just like us. Yo, I don't know, I can't see, but then I hear Doc's little voice in my ear. And then who's gonna be out in the desert with me? The BN. Got me going for a silver or gold. The BN. But do my bench warm or cold? The BN. Brew, get unrefined. The Brewing Network. I sing 5 gallons at a time. The BN. Got me going for a silver or gold. The BN. You don't know the bench warm or cold. The BN. Brew, get unrefined. The Brewing Network. I sing 5 gallons at a time. Drunk of the year, Mad Jack, Hennings a train wreck. You wrote another hook to the song, hell yeah. What about a shun beneath sea? Come lactify me. I'm talking about the way your funk makes me call thee white bros. Come on, Chris, go ahead and ship me a vibe on the sweet little hose. That's a big fat redhead. It must be Sean O'Fett, or it could be Roger's ass smacked. I might hit that. This bitch, a flying donkey fist, calling K's the shit. Downtown that scientist. Drizzle Bizzle, my man Chris Graham next to Morgan. I hope ALND proves to be hot damn. Sean Paxton and Gordon Dan. I'm taller than you both lying down. Just don't stand. Down we go. Please don't cry. Although we're gonna rock the fucking roof right off this beat. So BN. Got me going for a silver or gold. The BN. But do my bench warm or cold? The BN. Brew, get unrefined. The Brewing Network. I sing 5 gallons at a time. The BN. Got me going for a silver or gold. The BN. You don't know the bench warm or cold. The BN. Brew, get unrefined. The Brewing Network. I sing 5 gallons at a time. Scream and drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker.
I could have mixed it with chocolate and vagina. It still wouldn't help.
Drink!
Wait till you can pour it out of your own kegerator.
I mean, your friends will look at you with awe.
And it's just hot.
It is?
It's so super hot.
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
Everybody, thanks for hanging in there with us. It's The Session, kicking it old school. Doc, we're talking about his brew day, and we're most of the way through it now.
Wait, you brew beer, Doc?
Oh, once in a while.
At your home?
Right now.
Yeah.
How do you do that? We'll start over.
888-401-BEER. You can join JP in the chat room. The good thing about that is that there's a lot of other people besides JP in the chat room that you can hang out with, and they're your fellow soldiers in the BN Army. So hit the chat now button, and if you've got questions, you can get them through that way. Okay, we're going to try to get through the remainder of Doc's brewing procedures here in this segment. So let's get to it. We've now chilled and transferred. Our wort is sitting in one of Doc's conicals.
In the conical.
And it's, unbelievably, it's already 50 degrees.
Yep. I gotta make sure it is. Sometimes if it's not, then I'll do the McDole. Well, I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll set it and wait to get it wherever I need it. I'll take a gravity reading at that point. And I should be right where I want it to be.
Okay.
Usually it is.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's too late.
At that point, it's too late.
It's too late, but at least I'll have it for my records now, and I can put it back in and for notes.
Okay.
Things later.
So you are writing all of this stuff down all the way through the process thus far. Your pre-boil, everything.
I'll usually print out my Pro Mash session. I'll print that out. I'll put it on a clipboard, and then I make notes as I go. Okay. So let's say maybe I added more or less hops because I just felt like it. When I put them in, I screwed up and I didn't put them in at 40 minutes. I put them in at 30. I'll make a note.
Just the exceptions.
Yeah, the exceptions. Right. Yeah, I'll cross this out and put that in there. And when I put these in. I'll even make how long it took me to boil, how long it took to go from this to this. It's just like little notes at that. And then when I go back, I don't have a computer in the brew house.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go back to my computer, I can put this stuff back in the notes thing. So
Okay.
I know.
So you're not saving the papers. That was actually a question I had. Because if I write stuff about the brew day on paper, I just like have this stack of crap around that gets thrown away. If I don't put it on the computer, it's garbage.
It's like I got a clipboard right here, and that just stays on the clipboard. So now I have a clipboard with paper on it instead of just a pile of papers over there.
So you do keep the papers for your
until
records.
I enter them.
Just till
once I enter them, then they're gone.
Good.
I don't want to leave them around any for that. So let's say we are at pitching temperature. I go ahead and pitch. I'll oxygenate. I use an oxygen wand. Oxygenate for a few minutes.
How many minutes?
It just depends on how many minutes. Not more than 3 minutes or so, 2 minutes.
Okay.
Then, depending on the beer, whether I put foam control in there or not.
Hang on one sec. You move the wand around. That's why you use a wand, right? So you can move it around within the wort, or do you does it sit stationary?
It stays in the bottom. It's in the conical. I put it through the top hole in the conical, and so it reaches all the way to the bottom. Right into the bottom, as far down as it can go. So it'll bubble up through the most amount of wort that it can.
Okay.
When I'm using the Erlenmeyer, I use it to stir the Erlenmeyer, so it actually gets more contact time. If it's bubbling through the top, that's pretty much wasted O2 because it's all coming off the top. It's not going back in the solution.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how fast you put it in, it's how much is wasted at that point. So,
okay.
I get the O2 going with that one. Then by that time, let's say I brewed all day, and by the time I get cleaned up and I pitch, say it wasn't at the right time, but I pitch at 9 at night or something before I go to bed, or I'll get up in the morning. Just like anybody else on my way to work, I got to go out and check my beer first.
Yeah.
And if it's not fermenting, I have left enough time that I oxygenate again.
Okay.
And I have the luxury I can come home at lunch. I live that close to my office. And if it's still not fermenting, say a big beer or a lager or something, it gets oxygen again.
Really?
I'll oxygenate about every 6-8 hours as long as it's not fermenting.
And you're just talking about a visual check of the airlock. If there's no activity.
If it's not vigorously going.
Yeah.
Then it's probably fermenting at some level, even if it's not coming through the airlock.
Okay.
But as long as it's not really in full ferment, I'll oxygenate it again, especially with my big Belgian beers. Because I really want to give them as much oxygen. The oxygen's going to dissipate all on its own. So you put it in there 8 hours ago, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not that the yeast used it up, and they have used a bunch of it up, but it's going to dissipate. It's going to come out of solution anyway, so you need to put it back in there.
Okay.
If you've got a lot of yeast, a lot of beer, and a lot of sugar, put the yeast in there. Keep doing it.
All right.
All right. So then I just kind of monitor what the temperature is. I'll let it ferment. Say it's a lager we're doing. I'll let it ferment out. So it takes a week, maybe. It's kind of, you just kind of know. You're watching the gravity. You're watching the bubbles. You kind of know when it's going to be done. I'll wait another day or so, and then I'll let it rise to do a diacetyl rest.
To what? So what's your lager temp? Let's say this Dortmunder. What are you going to ferment at?
50.
Okay. So at the end, so let's say 7 days.
Yeah.
Now you're going to let it rise.
I'll let it go. Yeah, I'll let it go up to low 60s probably. I won't go up to 70 or anything.
Okay. So you'll just turn off the cooling mechanism and let it rise naturally to low 60s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once it gets up to where it's going to go, and then I'll leave it there for a day and put it back down. Sometimes I don't even do that.
Okay.
It just depends on the beer.
And what is the point of that?
It's a diacetyl rest. It's to help the yeast reuptake the diacetyl that they produced.
Okay.
In the beer. They're going to do it anyway, just because it's a little bit faster.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. They would, if you left it there for a while, they'd do it naturally.
If I got a lot of time, like this beer I don't, I'd leave it there for a couple of weeks. I'd leave it 2 weeks on the yeast, and I wouldn't have to do anything to it. I wouldn't have to let it rise.
Okay.
Let the temperature go up or anything. Which is usually how I do it.
All right.
This one I'm going to have to goose it along a little bit.
Okay, so
You're
it's
not
just
gonna have extended lagering of this beer.
Right, I'm not going to have the extended lagering on. And I'm not going to have extended fermentation time.
Right.
I'm going to have to get it out of the conical so I can get more time.
So the dowser rest is really important here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So once we get
and that's just for a day, you said, if you do it. Yeah.
Or so, day and a half. It depends on what my schedule. If I can't get right in there, it doesn't have to be 24 hours on the nose.
Okay. And then you'll crash it.
Yeah, I'll put it back down. Sometimes at that point, a lot of times I'll just take it right out of the conical at that point.
Well, it's warm, yeah.
Well, and it takes too long for the conical to get it back down. There's no reason for it. It's a lot of energy to do it that way. So I'll just put it into my tanks, and I'll put in. I use Bright tanks. I'll put it in there. It's got a shortened dip tube on it.
Okay. So it's just a corny keg with a shortened.
Yeah. I'll usually put gelatin finings in there. Get it all kegged up in there. I rock and roll the keg around quite a bit, upside down. Roll it around. I want to get that gelatin really dissolved in there, dispersed in there, and then it goes into the cold freezer.
Okay.
And I get as close as I can to the 32 as I can.
Oh, you will? Okay.
34, something like that. I'll leave it for a week at that point, and then I'll rack it.
Okay.
And then I'll rack it to another conical. Corny.
Another corny. Yeah.
Once I get it to that one, I'll check them at that. I'll pull a sample off in a glass, and it's amazing how all four cornies are going to be different too.
Really?
Sometimes one's a little bit cloudier than the other one. Sometimes it's a little bit more, just a little bit different.
Is that just the nature of the gelatin?
I think, or just maybe you got more yeast in the last one.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you rack them off serially, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
And I mark which one's conical 1, 2, 3, and 4, so I know if they're different, which ones are going to be which. I know the last one I'm going to get more yeast come through than on the first one.
Right.
I might have more oxygen in one of them than the other one.
Yeah.
I always purge the cornies before I rack into them.
Purge them with CO2.
Right.
I've just started doing that. Chris Graham got me doing that because he laughed at me like I was a big jerk every time I told him I didn't, and I didn't like that very much. No, it's easy to do. You just attach CO2 to it like you were gonna pour beer out of it,
right?
And pull up the popper on the top and purge it, right. And you know what? I think I've actually noticed a difference in my beer. It went from real bad to pretty bad.
I put a black body a black quick disconnect, and I actually pump it through the long dip tube from the bottom up, so it forces the O2 out from the bottom.
Interesting.
And it comes out that way. You don't have to do it if you're drinking your beer really fast.
Yeah.
It's oxygen pickup is good as stale your beer, but it's going to take a while.
So if you're going to have that stuff stick around,
if you're going to lager this thing for 4 to 8 weeks, you don't want any oxygen.
Yeah, around here, this place here, it makes no difference. They drink them as soon as they're done.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't put a straw right in the fermenter.
Yeah, I don't know why they put them in kegs.
Well, we haven't figured out a way to get it carbonated that fast. Otherwise, we probably would.
Oh, I'll have to show you how to do that.
We don't like it flat. As soon as it's got a couple bubbles in there. I mean, we'll do the shake method, McDole. Don't get me wrong. We'll get a couple bubbles in there. Yeah, we don't just put it in there and go for it. We shake it for a couple of minutes. I mean, let's face it.
That's what I heard. You only good for 30 seconds on the shake things.
Oh, you guys have had. There's a new keg on the tapper over there. It's not quite cold enough yet.
So.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's true. Doc's like, what do you got on tap? Well, we got a lot of stuff on tap. You want it to be cold and carbonated or not? Yeah, we don't care. Okay, but the oxygen is important if you're going to have it stick around. So that's an easy step. If you're a kegger, like Doc and the rest of us here, there's no reason you shouldn't be purging your kegs with CO2. Just why not? It'll be easy.
Well, especially on beers that you're going to have around a while. If you're making a barley wine, it'll really be good in about a year or two.
Yeah.
Really watch it there, because that's when you want to have the minimal amount of oxygen in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
One extra little step that you can do. Then once I get into the other kegs, I don't even carbonate it at this point.
You don't?
Okay. I let it sit. Let it do its thing. Till a couple of days before I'm going to be serving it, or it's got to go. Sometimes the night before. And I'll usually add the carbonation at that point.
Is there a reason for that, or it's just your routine?
I like it. It's my routine for one thing, but I kind of always wonder the carbonic acid is going to change things for the yeast.
Really? As it's lagering, you mean just kind of hanging around?
The yeast is still working. That's why it's lagering. It's still working. It's eating this. It's changing that.
Well, the change in pressure on the yeast, that'll affect it.
Exactly. You can change the pressure on the yeast. They don't like that so much.
Sometimes they'll explode, I've heard.
That's pretty interesting. I had always thought it doesn't, at that point, it doesn't matter whether you carbonate or not. Do you also lager flat, Tasty?
Yes, I do.
You do? Yeah. Okay. That's a good point, though, that not only the pressure, but
think of what you're doing. You're not just letting the beer age. If you filtered it and stripped it all out and
it's done.
Yeah, fine.
Carbonated then.
Yeah, but you might as well. But what we want to do is we want the yeast. They're going to be working, but they're working slow.
Yeah.
And they're going to be uptake and releasing other compounds and mellowing the beer out. Things are going to be working that way. And if we put any more undue stress on the yeast than we need to,
right?
When we don't have to, we're not going to be drinking it.
Yeah.
So the pressure's not going to like that, and they're probably not going to like the change in pH.
See,
ever so slight it might be.
Shat, we ought to just start filtering so these guys will stop bitching about us not aging the beer.
Definitely.
Because it's the same difference. Then we don't have to wait.
You can probably drink it right out of the filter.
Yeah, we'll just connect our mouths to the other end of the filter.
Filter it, shake it, you can be drinking it in 2 hours.
These guys can quit crying about it.
Built-in filter in the kegerator.
I'm serious. We maybe ought to go get a filter,
What's your Wednesday beer?
I
don't know. What do you mean? I forgot about it. It's Friday.
Our Wednesday beer is what finished fermenting on Tuesday. That's what our Wednesday beer is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
So we get
lagering, carbonate.
Carbonation. I do forced carbonation. I do the shake rock and roll method. What I like to do is I change the quick disconnect, so I'm actually putting the CO2 in the beer out, so I can hear it bubble.
Yeah.
So I started at a lower pressure and I shake until I don't hear bubbles anymore, and then I turn the pressure up and shake some more. And you can hear as long as you can hear the CO2 going in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be cold. Look at your chart, figure out where you're going to be.
Yeah.
This is another thing where you're taking a little bit of a chance if you're new at the high pressure shake it method, because you can overdo it.
Forgive me if you know exactly what Doc is talking about, but I always know we have a few listeners, and we're talking about the shake method like it's a common thing, and it is. But let me just dumb it down. So it's just a way to carbonate things really quickly instead of having to, like, if you were to, let's say that you serve your beer at 12 pounds on your gauge there. You could carbonate your beer just by putting it to 12 pounds and letting it sit there for a week, and it would eventually yes. It would eventually then and that
2 weeks or
glad
so.
you mentioned that, Doc. You taught me this. The colder the beer, the better it takes in the CO2.
The easier and the faster it'll take in.
Yeah. So you could let it sit there for a week at 12 pounds. It would eventually equalize. You'd have a nice carbonated beer. But a faster way to do it, and this is the shake method that Doc's talking about, you go ahead and crank that CO2 up to about 30 pounds.
Yeah. You can do a combination. You can do just shake it at 12 pounds, or you can raise the pressure too, and shake it.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Or you can,
if you're going to do it,
or you could just raise the pressure and leave it for a day or two
and
without shaking
faster.
it.
Yeah. But if you could. Here's what happens. I mean, if you go up to 30 pounds and you shake it for 5 minutes, it's carbonated. Like it's done. It is carbonated.
You got to get used to when to stop doing that.
Because if you shake that for 10 minutes.
Too much?
It can be overcarbonated.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the chart, and we keep referring to this chart, there's charts available in almost all the good how to brew kind of include. In fact, it's in how to brew type books. And you look at the temperature of your beer, the pressure you want to get to, and it'll tell you the pressure to dial your regulator into. And there you just shake until it stops going in. And then it's at that.
So I didn't even know that.
You can leave it at 12 pounds and just shake. It takes longer.
Oh yeah, it'll take a week. No,
it takes longer. But by shaking it, you're creating more surface area, kind of like splashing it inside there.
Yeah.
Instead of having just the gas. Liquid interface is just that little circle at the top of the keg. Yeah. By splashing it, you're actually getting it to splash around in the gas in the gas space above that. So that helps quite a bit. If you don't want to overcarbonate, that's the best way to do it. It's just set it at your pressure and keep shaking. It might take a while. I've heard of people that they'll put it in the back seat of their car and drive it around.
Really?
Yeah, with it on at 12 pounds. And you take a little drive
That's
around.
how you got your wife to go into labor. No? That's another thing.
That's
I'll take 'em
interesting.
both.
I never really thought of that.
That's not very environmentally friendly, though. I think Al
He's
Gore
a
would have a
hybrid.
heart attack.
That's true. It isn't very.
Well,
Unless
maybe
you
you're
have
going somewhere else anyway.
You put it on the back of your bicycle, maybe.
Yeah. But
yes, exactly.
Anyway, or you could put it on top of the washing machine, the dryer. And
Yeah, just get it. You can put it on across your knees. Get a good rock song on the radio.
You got a 12-year-old kid.
You know,
pay him
play your
$1.
favorite song and just bounce it back and forth. Yeah.
The point is just beat it like it's your dick, and it'll go fine.
Beat it like your wife. I want to say two things. First of all, Justin, thanks for dumbing that down for us. You did an awesome job.
Are you being sarcastic right now? Because people always come back and they say...
No, it was funny because you said that, and then Doc and McDole ended up talking for you. That was the joke.
I see.
Jerk.
I didn't get
Second of all, in the chat room, there's a new saying that you're going to Justin it down.
Yeah, that's... thanks, guys.
And then there's another guy in the chat that wants to know which method takes less gas. I'm assuming that no matter how you're carbonating, it's going to be the same amount of gas.
Same
right?
amount of gas.
Yeah, because it's not
an
you're not having to
All you
vent
do
it
is
anywhere.
trying to get X amount of gas into the beer.
Yeah.
As long as you're not venting it off, it's going to go into the beer. We're just talking about how to get it in there faster.
Yeah.
And it's more important getting the right amount in there. So if you put it up to 30 pounds and shake too long, you can overdo it. And it's hard to get it back out again. You can, but it's hard to do.
You can always stop and test it.
One way is the half and half method, where you put it to 30 pounds, shake it for a while, and it won't be carbonated all the way. Then put it at your 12 pounds, put it back in your kegerator, and then in a couple of days it'll be right where it should be, instead of having to wait a week or two.
Here's another thing I do. I set it to 30 for 48 hours, and then I just set it to my 12 psi. Next day it's fine.
Yeah. So you have a 3-day
48 hours at 30, which is about the max.
Okay.
Or you can do.
I have the problem where usually I need the beer the next day, the next morning, like for...
I drink a lot of them same night.
For NorCal. I need it for NorCal. The next day's got to be shipped out. And I got 4 kegs I got to carbonate. And I'm 10 o'clock night, I'm in there shaking. I got to get it done.
Will you look at the chart and then set it to, like McDowell was talking about?
I usually use the chart for my kegerator I know the temperature of the kegerator, and I know how much CO2 I need in there, and I want it to be a balanced system.
Okay.
That's mostly what I use the chart for, because if you're pumping up to 30 pounds, you don't know, because you're going to cut it off before it gets equalized.
Yeah,
anyway.
you know what, the 30 pounds thing, through experience, I know when it slows up to a certain point,
right. And
I know when I got it. I can read the bubbles, and I know whether I'm at 12 or 14.
You're like a beer Jedi.
Yeah.
You just
do a number of times I've done it.
That's what I said at the very beginning. You'll know.
It's a Zen thing, you know?
It is a Zen thing.
You have to be one with your beer.
Yes.
You know?
I rarely overcarbonate anymore, because I know how long to do it and what the bubbles are going to be sounding like when they're coming through.
It's very Zen, both of you. You guys are like Buddhas. That chart's in How to Brew, you say, Tasty?
Yeah, I believe it.
The book How to Brew, available in the Brewing Network store.
Yeah.
It's another good
Where can you
reason.
get that book?
TheBrewingNetwork.com/store. And it's signed by John Palmer, the author himself.
I heard he put a couple of special signatures.
There are 5
golden tickets
in the boxes I'm looking at with special signings. I don't even know what they are. I just know that they're special signings.
Right.
Is that the surprise announcement you're talking about?
No, I still have a groundbreaking
I mean, it's better than that?
announcement to make, yes. It's going to rock everyone's world. You're going to want to stick around. All right, Doc, what else do we got? So now we got it carbonated. We spent some time on that.
Now you drink it, bro.
We're drinking, right?
Yeah, we're drinking it.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of this brew day. Okay, good. I got to say, Doc, in all honesty, I'm excited about brewing right now. This conversation has got me.
You know what's ahead of you.
Yeah. Well, I gotta be honest, since our New Year's motorcycle trip, I've been obsessed with my motorcycle. I think about it all the time. I've been spending all of my spare time fixing up the motorcycle and work. Like, that's my new hobby, right? I've had it for a long time, but I got really enthusiastic about it. So I had kind of forgotten about the brew thing for a couple weeks. You got me all excited about brewing again now.
Excellent.
Yeah, this discussion was good for me. I liked it. Was it good for you, Shat?
Damn it! Now we're fighting for fermenters.
I know. Now we're back to fight for. Shat was loving it when I didn't want to brew. I don't have time for that. I'm doing other things. No, I'm back.
Son of a bitch.
I'm back in there now. This was It's good to hear about your process because you really have it dialed in, and that helps guys like me because I can just take a lot from that.
It makes the brew day less stressful, and that's when it's fun.
Yeah.
Instead of you can sit down and say, "Don't worry, have a home brew," but unless you actually works.
Yeah.
Drinking more seldom helps.
Yeah. Drink more. That'll cut down on the stress.
JP, did you learn anything from today's discussion about yourself or your brewing? Yeah, you're JP.
Oh, I learned that I like turtles.
Mm-hmm.
Turtles.
Good. Well, see, Doc, you're helping everybody today.
Yeah, good.
Did I learn? Yeah, I did. I did.
Would you like to elaborate?
No.
It's your own little self lesson.
Yeah, it's best kept private.
I see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, way to get through that. 888-401-BEER. You can still join us in the chat. When we come back, I have to take a quick break right now. I think it's a 5-minute break. We're going to go take a leak. We're going to refill. Groundbreaking announcement coming up on the Brewing Network, on the session. It's only our second session of the new year, and we're already breaking ground.
Better get a beer.
Yeah, I was just thinking you and Shat need a sign-up list for the Conical, or for
who gets it. Yeah,
sign-out sheet.
Sign-out sheet.
Hang in there. We'll be right back, kids.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Did you know that every day a brewcaster goes to bed hungry? Did you know that brewcaster is silently calling for the help of people just like you? Do you know that every day the unicorn and the rainbow have to blow sailors for loose change? For less than the cost of a half-calf, quad-shot, venti, extra-hot soy milk, triple pump, hazel, low-fat foam, double-cupped macchiato a day, you can help starving adults in Pacheco. Your love can be felt for as little as 7 cents a day. Visit thebrewingnetwork.com/donate to sign up today for as little as $2 a month. Private first class in the BN Army. Buy your way up the ranks as corporal, sergeant, ranger, or colonel with an easy-to-do monthly donation that keeps brewcasters alive and your favorite internet radio station broadcasting. No donation is too small to help those in need. Can't you find it in your heart to share your love with a brewcaster? In return, you will enjoy the wealth of knowledge that comes with every episode of the session, The Jameel Show, and yes, even that other show. Thank you for listening, and please sign up for your donation at thebrewingnetwork.com/donate today.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
I can remember how much I have had. I drank a 12-pack with my dad.
That's my son, the drunken manly stud. I'm proud to be his bud.
Here, have some pretzels.
No, I'll call it quits. Those things give me the schlitz.
Drink with your family, drink it with your friends. Drink till you're fat, stomach distends. Beer is liquid bread, it's good for you. We like to drink till we spew. Ooh, who cares if we get fat? I'll drink to that. As we sing once more, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. Golly, I adore it. Come on, damn it, pour it, do it for me, brew it for me, feed it to me, speed it to me. The most wonderful drink in the world. Hooray!
What have you gotten out of a vial of White Labs yeast?
WLP 001, Cal Ale, baby. 23, Burton Ale. 008, East Coast Ale.
Cal Common, WLP 810.
It's gonna be WLP 400 with beer.
I got a sweet hoodie for my vial.
Huh?
White Labs, your source for great brewer's yeast, would like to invite all homebrewers to join the White Labs Customer Club. Redeem your empty vials for great White Labs merchandise and products. Free yeast, glassware, t-shirts, baseball caps, sweatshirts, polo shirts, and you won't believe what you'll get for 5,000 vials. Members also receive a newsletter packed with White Labs updates and facts, interviews with professional brewers, brew your own clone recipes, beercook.com recipes, and customer club stories. The White Labs Customer Club. Save your vials and get in the club. White Labs. It's all in the vial.
Mix me your 100-grain amber recipe, and I'm going to eat it. And then it can ferment in my gut. It totally works. The beer is almost identical to the grain sandwich.
Your colon won't know what hit it.
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
radio should